Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. I quote the great Nuke LaLoosh in the fabulous feature film Bull Durham. I love winning, man. You know, it's like better than losing. Glad to have you with us on this Wednesday, November 6, 2024. Happy to be here. I'm going to assume, based on Bell K's expression, that we don't have what I need to have. I felt like that was wrong. I felt like that was weird. I feel like that's the wrong intro today, Bell. Maybe we could come up with something different. Do you have anything else in mind? Do you have anything else popped up there? Do you have something that I could point to you and expect? Because this became kind of an unofficial victory dance last night. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, that's an awful version of that. Is that just in my headphones? No? Okay. Well, it's not like I called you an hour beforehand and asked you to get it for me. Don't you give me that look. It's a happy day, Belle. I love you. I love everybody. We're celebrating. I think we're celebrating in mono, but we're celebrating. You know, there's our man, Trumpy Trump. He's on the stage. Sing it with him now. It's fun to be in the USA. It's fun to be in the USA. It's a little bit of an homage to Phil Valentine. Didn't Phil Valentine used to do dancing in the booth on Fridays with Johnny B? That's what I feel like we're doing today. So, hello, friends. Welcome in to what I'm certain will be a celebratory atmosphere on the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being with us. God bless each and every one of you. I appreciate you every day, win or lose. Last night was a win for the United States of America, in my opinion. I'll explain it all for you and describe why over the course of the next 3 hours. But we have some obligatory pleasantries to get out of the way, and we'll do so and move forward on this day. So it is Locks for Trump Day 249. I laugh as I say that because so many of you last night at the James E. Ward Ag Center at the Wilson County Fairgrounds were saying, oh, you're going to cut your hair? Oh, you're going to cut your hair? I'm actually, I'm locked into keeping the locks until Inauguration Day, although I might get them trimmed up because I'm now under no obligation not to cut my hair. I can cut my hair if I want to. I can shave it all off if I wanted to.
I think you should stick it out until the first 100 days are over.
You know, I'll consider it. I kind of like that idea, Bill. That's not a bad idea. You know, just to make sure that it takes hold and nobody tries to boot him out of office or whatever. So, yeah, Locks for Trump Day 249 today. We're not cutting them off anytime soon. It's Wednesday, November 6th. I mentioned that. It's episode 688. Before I forget, Bell, I might as well go ahead and do this. We're on a lot of different platforms because I want to get to Ken Weaver in the newsroom and talk a lot about what happened last night, obviously. So it's episode 688. You can find us on 99.7 FM. You can find us on any podcast platform, any place where you stream audio of any kind. We're there. Just type in Supertalk 99.7 WTN. We have our own app, and you're invited to download that. And then, of course, there's Supertalk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You'll see Ken Weaver from time to time. You'll see Matt Murphy from time to time. You will not see Bell K because of the warrants, but he does offer us our title every day. Episode 688 is entitled
Matt Murphy Show, your source for the countdown to dictatorship.
It's coming, baby. Count them down. Days before democracy dies. All right. I want to extend my heartfelt, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and I know he doesn't want me to say it, but I'm about to anyway. God bless Ken Weaver for everything that he provided us last night. He was the unsung hero of our coverage yesterday on Election Day because he's providing bottom-of-hour updates, top-of-the-hour updates for, I don't even know how long he was doing it, 12, 14 hours, something like that.
It's about 73 hours.
God bless you, Ken Weaver. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. I got home last night, fully intended to just go straight to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to go straight to bed because, I got out of here a little bit after 11:30. I'm listening to you boys on the way home. Right before you signed off, you guys were saying, okay, that's it, Pennsylvania. They're going to call Pennsylvania any moment now. So I thought, okay, well, this thing's going to be over. I'm going to go home, and I'm gonna get in bed. Well, I couldn't.
I know it.
I got into bed, and then I got right back up.
Oh, wow.
And I sat and watched it, and I got to say, man, what was ABC, NBC, and CBS waiting on?
or CNN or MSNBC.
Were there going to be miraculously 5 million plus votes found all of a sudden?
I think that's what they were hoping for, Ken. I don't know. I don't know what else you were waiting on. I don't know what dynamics they could have been waiting on, except that they didn't want what they were seeing to be real.
Oh, and it looked like they all had a severe stomach ailment.
It was like a funeral.
Well, what y'all don't understand is this electoral college nonsense doesn't mean anything. It's the popular. Oh, wait, never mind.
Uh-huh. How about that?
But, yeah, man, I mean, what a night. I mean, what a campaign. This is amazing, dude, what we have witnessed.
I mean, I know that most, Ken Weaver likes to say, I just do the news, and we're not talking from a political perspective at this point. It's really about history.
Yes,
it's
sir.
about not just American history, because we're experiencing something that's happened only once before in our history, and it was in the late 1800s,
Was it Taft?
No, it was Grover Cleveland.
That's right.
Grover
I always
Cleveland.
get those because they were both really big.
All right, yeah, sure.
Like 1884 and
Right.
then again in 1892.
There you go.
Something like that.
And I think Hayes was in between him, if I'm not mistaken. Well, the bottom line, it's only happened once in American history, so it's not, quote, unprecedented, but nothing like this, nothing in the modern era like this.
Over 100 years.
And obviously nothing like Donald Trump. I would suggest that when you talk about greatest political comebacks or greatest leadership comebacks in world history, not just in American history, what? Napoleon, Donald Trump. I mean, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at this. I mean, this man.
With everything,
I can't think of anybody else. I'm literally struggling to come up with anything else.
I mean,
am
from a leadership perspective, or Napoleon, maybe MacArthur in the military, the I shall return in the Philippines, and then he did. I mean, whatever. I mean even that feels wrong. I don't know of anything like this.
AP now has Trump at 292 electoral votes to Harris's 224.
Oh, yeah. He flipped Michigan. The blue wall is down.
Wow.
Oh, so Michigan's official now.
Yeah, Michigan's official.
Oh, yeah. So what states are we waiting on right now, Ken? Do you have that in front of you?
I got to look at that, Brother Murphy.
Nevada, Arizona, and Alaska are 3.
Alaska
And
Alaska
Maine.
still white?
And Maine. Yeah, Alaska's still white.
So I mean, and by white, I mean on the map they flip them blue or red. I don't mean like POC type
Yes,
thing.
sir.
But so yeah, Alaska will be another 3 votes. That'll take him to 295 because Alaska will go red. I don't know what we're waiting on there. And so we're just waiting on the 6 in Nevada, 11 in Arizona, so that's 17. He's going to get over 300 electoral.
And both of those, Nevada, Arizona, and Alaska, all 3 of those are showing a lean toward Trump. So Maine's showing a lean toward Harris, so that would give her another 4, but it's not even close.
Well, and they split. I think one of the
that's
reasons
right. Maine, Maine does
it by
split.
congressional district. So I think Trump will probably get one of the 4, maybe. But still, it'll be one way or the other. It's an incredible historic night. We're going to open telephone calls coming up in just a few minutes.
Yes.
We're going to talk to Lenny McGill. We had a huge event last night, and I wanted to start by thanking Ken Weaver because he was doing the hard work back here at home base all throughout the evening.
It wasn't even working, Brother Murphy.
Oh, man.
I was just sitting here typing.
He was
The
drinking
hard work-
coffee and eating Kit Kats.
Hard work was you guys having to talk all that much. Then, Chris Webber and Jeff Malinoff, I mean, they were working hard.
They did too. I mean, yes. So thank you to
Everybody.
Chris. Thank you to everybody involved in it, and thank you most importantly to everyone that came out, stopped by, said hello. It was such an honor to get the opportunity to walk through the crowds and say hello to everybody. We probably had, the estimate was about 700 people.
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. It sounded like you were at a rivalry football a rivalry basketball game is what it sounded like.
So
a full
good.
arena. I mean, it sounded so good. And the crowd, I agree with you. Hats off to the crowd.
Well, I mean, it was an incredible room. And, so much so that I know Dan Mandis does this more than Chris Hand, Matt Murphy, or Brian Wilson. But, you look at the room, you walk in the room and it's empty. And you're like, how the heck are we filling this? What? This is not a Tennessee Volunteer football game. What are we even doing? And then the doors open and people show up and they're there to watch what we saw. And I was so happy particularly happy, and I don't know why I get sentimental and maudlin like this, but I do. I was so happy for the older generation of Americans, the 70-somethings and the 80-somethings that came out to see us, that came out to watch the results, and went home so happy, knowing that the America that they grew up in still remains. Even beyond all the rhetoric, even beyond all the screaming, even beyond all the fussing about democracy dying in darkness and all of this nonsense, our America remains because the people are so brilliant. What have I said to you from the beginning? That the best things that we have going for us in these political contests is that they think you're dumb and they overplay their hands. Well, there's an addendum to that. You're so smart and you believe in your country so much. I know that there's a lot of Democrats that are hurting right now, and a lot of those people have bought into these narratives that are not true. And we have to help them understand that they're not true. We have to help them understand that what happened last night was a reclamation of the United States of America. We did not give it up to the powerful elites in Washington, D.C. to do with it what they wanted. We gave it back to you, to me, to all of us. And that's what it's about. And I just thank you so much, each and every one of you, for coming out, for being a part of the big event. We went until midnight when we handed off to Red Eye Radio. We were hoping for an election result before we handed it off. It happened, about an hour or so later, they finally called Pennsylvania. At least Fox did, and then the rest of the network set up. I was up till about 4:30, I think.
Yeah.
Watching those returns, and I admit I enjoyed sipping on delicious liberal tears all night. All night on them. I mean, it occurred to me at one point, like after Trump spoke, and we watched that, and I went over. I was flipping back and forth from #NeverCNN to, as Donald Trump calls them, MSDNC.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it occurred to me. I don't know why, but it just popped in my head. There are more conservatives watching MSNBC right now than have ever watched MSNBC, and I guarantee you they outnumber the liberals 9 to 1.
Oh yeah,
because the liberals had turned Ken Weaver, and I don't mean to hit on delicate topics.
All right,
but I don't know how you are. Right. But if my football team, the Georgia Bulldogs, win a big game,
yeah.
I want it all. I want to watch that SEC final. I want to watch all the replays. I want to watch all the commentary. I want these experts to tell me exactly what happened and how it happened.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. But if we lose a football game, I don't really care that much about football. I'm going to bed.
No, I'm back to Little House on the Prairie.
That's exactly right. Now, Matt, what were liberals watching last night?
I don't know. Dude, at one point, I can't remember his name. He is a longtime anchor for CBS. He actually used to do CBS Sunday morning. I cannot remember his name, but he stopped in the middle of what he was saying because he was trying to explain what happened, and he finally just took a breath and he said, "We've never seen anything."
Well, that's well spoken. All right,
I know the presidential election was obviously the big deal, but I've been remiss in checking it. Have we seen any shifts in the House or the Senate?
Senate is Republican.
Yeah, Senate went Republican. House of Representatives right now, the last I saw it was a +3 GOP, but there are still enough House races out there that we don't know. But I just heard from a source, my good friend Congressman Gary Palmer in the 6th Congressional District in Alabama, that said he spoke with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. And Mike Johnson told him that they have every confidence that the Republicans will keep the House.
How many seats did the Republicans pick up in the Senate?
I think at least 3.
3?
The West Virginia, Montana, and Ohio.
Okay.
So,
well, obviously that's going to make a huge difference too.
Oh yeah. I mean, no. Listen.
So, you know what we should do? We should throw the Democrats a bone, get rid of filibuster, just like they wanted.
Yeah, give them a little here's a little victory from Matt Murphy, Bell, K, and you. There you go, Dems. Enjoy. No filibuster. That's what you wanted, right? All right, we're breaking it all down. Thank you so much for all of you that came out and was a part of the event yesterday. It was a big time, and we had a good time. Now, a major part of the event, obviously, it was presented by U.S. Pest. There's a laundry list of sponsors that I'm going to go through at some point today. But GlockStore was a big part of the event last night, and they had a huge raffle. Sold a lot of guns last night, too. A lot of people didn't want to, they did not wish to endanger their opportunity to get a customized Trump Glock 19, and so they just went ahead and bought them. They were on sale last night, and they sold like 12 of them, I think. So We've got the big giveaway, and we have the results of the giveaway coming up in just a moment. Lenny McGill of the GlockStore is going to call us, and then we're going to announce the winner, and I think we're going to try to get the winner on the line as well. So 21 after the hour, we're going to do those things. We'll break it all down for you, take your telephone calls, find out where you're at on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, I mentioned that U.S. Pest was our presenting sponsor last night for our big election night watch party, and so many thanks to those guys at U.S. Pest. J.K. was the man. I didn't see him leave the facility, but he was there for most of the nights. We were handing out hats and shaking hands and just talking to folks. And he brought with him his very special guest was Congressman John Rose, who made an appearance at our big event in Wilson County at the fairgrounds. Listen, folks, U.S. Pest is a wonderful, wonderful American company. They believe in the United States of America, and they believe that you deserve a country, dare I say a home, where you don't have to deal with pests. You don't have to deal with bugs and the things that bug you. Well, if it's time, let's go to uspest.com and find out more. Home protection for you at uspest.com. Call today to get their services at 590-1260. That's 590-1260. Or just make a call and say, hey, thank you for sponsoring that election night coverage. Thank you for being great Americans. Thank you to U.S. Pest.
More reaction from President-elect Donald Trump's victory last night. And have you looked at your stocks? We'll tell you about that at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. 25 minutes after the hour, a little bit of house cleaning right now on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. But it's good house cleaning. What a great event last night. So many of you signed up for the big raffle being held by GlockStore, a presenting I'm so thankful to have GlockStore in our lives. I'm so thankful that we have them in our town. I'm so thankful that they're the great Americans that they are. And Lenny McGill stands by on the line to talk about some of our winning entries in the big giveaway from last evening. Lenny, what is going on, my friend?
It's a great day for America. Hello, Matt, and hello, WTN viewers. Also a great day for WTN. I mean, everybody here listening has got to be ecstatic. You know, the mood around the office here, we've got 100 people here. They're all happy.
I tell you what.
There's a lot of happy faces.
I mean, a lot of happy faces today, Lenny. And I was sad that we didn't get to see you last night, but what a great presentation by the GlockStore. You guys were such an integral part of us being able to present that. I think about 700 or so people walk through the doors in Wilson County at the fairgrounds, and so many of them were signing up at you guys' booth. I mean, it really, I can't say it any better than you just said it. What a great day to be an American.
Well, it's a great day for one of your listeners, too, because we have a Glock to give away. It's a custom Trump Glock. You saw the picture last night. It's really cool. It's got his face on it. It's got a big Trump on the side. We had about 500, just under 450 entries. I'm sorry, 450 entries to this event. And that shows there were a lot of people there yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people signed up, and one of them is a lucky winner.
And we're going to get to the lucky winner in just a moment, but I've got I was sent by Dan. I want to announce our third prize. You want to do the third prize and second prize? You want me to, Lenny?
No, you do them because
okay.
I want to do the grand.
Oh, yeah, no, you deserve that absolutely because you're the founder of the feast when it comes to this thing, man. So third prize, the tactical hydration mug. These are the coolest mugs around. I encourage you to go to GlockStore.com to look at them. These are made from gun grade material. Third prize, this mug goes to Tammy Stringer. Congratulations, Tammy! Woo! Tammy. Right. Second prize, which could be a grand prize in any normal giveaway because these are so valuable, range cards for 3 separate range sessions at your incredible Shoot 270 shooting rooms, never lanes at the GlockStore, shooting rooms. It's a superior way to train, and you'll train with one of their qualified instructors, and that goes to William Matheny. William Matheny! All right. William. There you go, William. And here's
Come
the
on down, William.
And here is the biggie. Describe this Glock for those who did not see it online and were not there last night. This is it's a Glock 19, but it is a great custom job, man.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a crushed silver Cerakote finish, and then it has the word Trump emblazoned on the slide itself. It has a picture of Trump actually on one of the sides of the frame, and on the other side is an American flag. It's really neat. It's a beautiful gun, and we do have a series of custom Trump guns available, as well as other custom guns here at the office. But this one is probably one of my favorite, and I tell you that when people saw it, they signed up for it, and we do have a winner.
We have a winner, and I will just give you a little drum roll. Lenny McGill.
The winner is Sandra D.
Sandra D. All right.
Sandra.
Woo! No, just me.
Well,
there we go. There we go. All right. And hey, guess who we just happened to have on the line, Lenny?
Oh, you tell me you got her on the phone?
Sandra is on the phone with us. Hey, Sandra.
Hello.
How are you?
Hey.
I'm good. How are y'all?
Great. Lenny McGill is on the line with us from the GlockStore, and I think that bodes well for you, Sandra, if I'm not mistaken. Lenny, you got something to tell Sandra personally?
Sandra, you won the Trump
All
Glock from last
right,
night.
Sandra.
Oh,
Congratulations. Yes.
It's you. It's no joke.
cool. Thank you.
What about
We are
that,
making
Sandra?
America great, one gun at a time.
Yes. Awesome.
Well, Sandra,
Can't believe that.
congratulations. Thank you for coming out last night. Did you have a good time?
I did. I had a great time.
Okay, good. Well, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you supporting our great sponsors like the GlockStore. And what about that? How about that custom Glock?
Yes, I can. Oh, I'm so excited. Sorry. I can't wait.
I think Sandra's out of breath. I don't think she can breathe right now, Liddy.
Well, come on down, Sandra, and we'll take good care of you, okay? And we'll make sure if you don't know how to shoot it, we'll make sure we'll show you how to.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, Sandra, Lenny and one of the fine folks at the GlockStore will be contacting you to set everything up. But we just wanted to call you in person and say congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you so
thanks for coming
much.
out.
All right, Sandra. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt.
All right. Hey, Lenny. God bless
What a
you,
great
man.
event. And we're so happy to be part of WTN. And, I get a lot of people tell me, hey, I heard you on the radio, and it's always WTN. And so thank you to all your listeners. And we really are proud to support WTN Talk Radio here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, we thank you for that, Lenny. And I would remind people that if you were not the winner of the customized Glock, all is not lost, because if you go down to see the GlockStore, they can customize your Glock in any fashion that you want. So if you want one that replicates the Glock that was just won by Sandra, they can get it done for you, right?
Absolutely. Love to. That's one of the favorite things we do. We've got every Glock in stock, every piece and part available for Glock. It is the GlockStore, and we are the #1 retailer of Glocks in the USA.
Lenny, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again, my friend. Take care.
All right, my friends. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic. But let me say this right before we go to Ken Weaver's newscast. The Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief is so important to the people of this community, and I appreciate those guys so much as well. They assist with your pain, and they do it in a different way. It's a kind of a different approach. It's a team approach. Dr. Gill recognized that he wants to help as many people as possible. And so he found those people some 30 years ago, people like Dr. Wendy, Dr. Dominic, Dr. V, and the rest of the team that can provide you the incredible pain management care that you deserve. What would you do if your pain was gone? Well, it's possible without having to pop pills, without having to shoot needles in your body to block the pain, and certainly without having to consider surgery. 615-882-4838, 615-882-4838, or visit callmepainfree.com. That's callmepainfree.com. It's the one and only Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief in Franklin.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And election 2024. Former President Trump has just picked up Michigan, another swing state going for the former president. About 80,000 votes, the decider. Trump posted a better-than-expected showing among voters in all of the battleground states. And it looks like we're hearing from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell now that the Senate has flipped back to Republicans. He says there are no plans to get rid of the filibuster.
I think this shifting to a Republican Senate majority helps control the guardrails to keep people who want to change the rules in order to achieve something they think is worthwhile is not successful.
Have you seen your stocks lately? An election that will bring Trump back to the White House been very good for the world's most successful manufacturer of electronic vehicles. Many investors expecting Trump to reduce or even eliminate tax credits for EVs. We checked at noon. The Dow is up nearly 1,400 points since this morning. It's unclear whether U.S. funding for Ukraine will continue at the same pace it has been under a new Trump administration and Republican-controlled Senate, but Ukraine's president offering his congratulations and pleas to Trump. Here's Patrick Reevell in London.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky congratulated President Donald Trump as soon as it became clear he would win, even before the electoral count was tallied. Zelensky's haste underlining the anxiety in Ukraine that Trump could end strong U.S. support. The Kremlin publicly has reacted cautiously to Trump's victory, but Russian officials have cheered, expressing some optimism it will help Moscow and weaken Kyiv.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Will dry out tomorrow afternoon, but we are going to stay cooler in the low 70s. 70s on Friday. Many of us are dry, and then more showers and even a couple rumbles of thunder return for the weekend.
I know many of our listening audience take very seriously where they give their charitable contributions, and I would like to recommend an organization that I strongly believe in, Men of Valor. Men of Valor is an organization that helps men in prison see a better way of life. They do so through the power of God, and they disciple individuals in the prison system to find that better way of life as they get out of the system. It's so important if you consider that 90% of the men who go into the system get out of the system, and 50% of those men within 3 years are back into the system, costing the taxpayers money. What if you could turn that into less than 10% recidivism? That's what Men of Valor does every day. Now, if you do not have donations to give, what about your time? Volunteers are needed at Men of Valor. Go to movministry.com. That's movministry.com to find out more about this incredible organization. I ask that you join us in helping set these captives free and making Tennessee and our community a better place to live with Men of Valor. Well, friends, the election night has come and gone, but if you want to continue taking your country back, we can continue to be in the fight with Coin, the conservative credit card. Instead of funneling millions of dollars to the left like other cards, Coin advances conservative values and gives to conservative charity, which I love. Earn cash back while fighting back. Apply now at Coin.com. If you're a credit card user, you owe it to yourself to go to Coin.com, spell it COIGN.com. Terms apply. Go to Coin.com/disclosures for full details. All right, I'm getting out of the way and getting to your telephone calls. Reaction Wednesday on the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. CNN is now projecting that Donald Trump's going to win the presidency at 12:38 in the afternoon on Wednesday. How about that? That's awesome. That's great stuff. Way to go, CNN. Boy, they had their lips pooched out all night last night. I know that. Donald Trump has won Arizona, it seems. He's at 51.9% to 47.2%. Really the only contest there that I think is still in, well, what is that, 63? Why does it take so long for some of these places to count their votes? Just makes no sense. I mean, everybody should do it the way Florida had a problem in 2000, right? Y'all remember that? Hanging chads, dangling chads. And the dude with the remember the dude with the magnifying glass? He had big old eyeball there. He's looking at that. Oh, is that a dimpled Chad? Is that a pregnant Chad? I'm like, who the hell's Chad? And why is he getting everybody pregnant? So,
why are people talking about him hanging?
Oh, I mean, maybe that's why he's getting people pregnant.
I don't.
Bell. This is all on Bell.
I don't.
I just do the news, boys.
I don't get the lack of understanding that you have that we don't get yellow buses anymore. We can't charge our phones on the way to work anymore. We can't fall out of coconut trees anymore. It's just all this is gone, and you don't care.
Hey, you want to do an homage? Do you want to? I mean, no. Here's what we should do. At some point in the 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock hour, find me some tender music, some tender piano. You know what I mean? Like some delicate. Or you know what we should do as we produce it on air? How about that? Hope you had the time of your life. Little Green Day. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road, and just pepper some of that with some Kamala drops. Yeah, another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? I like it. I think it would work. But yeah, we're losing those. We're losing. Bell, what are we going to do with the Joe Bidens? The Joe Bidens have already gone by the wayside.
Oh, we got to keep those.
Oh, but I think we got to keep the coconut tree.
Well, yeah, we got to keep all of it.
Oh yeah, just as a thank you.
I just want to be able to charge my phone on the way to work.
I mean, you got to keep the drop about you. You 23-year-olds are stupid. Yeah, they weren't so stupid last night. So, I mean, just a couple of notes. I mean, she only won the younger generation vote by 8%. Joe Biden won it by 20. Donald Trump received more Latino votes after all of the vilification. Oh, he hates brown people and all of that and the Puerto Rico nonsense. Donald Trump won more Latino votes last night than any presidential candidate on the Republican side since 1972. That's before I was born, and I ain't that young. I wish I could remember the name of the county, but I heard this morning, that one of the most Hispanic county in the United States of America is a county out in California. And no, pardon me. It's not a California county. It's a Pennsylvania county. The most Hispanic Pennsylvania county voted Donald Trump like 56%. Friends, this was historic by any measure. And what was it? It was authenticity. It was a recognition that everything they were saying about Donald Trump simply wasn't so. The more and more hyperbolic they got, the more insane they seemed, the more the American people recognize that these people aren't truth tellers, and they are offering me no solutions to the issues in my life. Now, in some way, I'm going to say this, in some way I feel a little bad for old Kamala. Now, I I'm not going to, play the world's smallest violin playing a song of sorrow for her. But she's just awful at it. She's awful at all of this, and she was put into an impossible position. When the major leading issue in the United States of America is the economy and you are the incumbency, you have to explain why you haven't done what you claim you want to do right now. And she couldn't do it. When your boss's major economic achievement, Bell, off the top of your head, and I'm putting you on the spot, but off the top of your head, what would you say is the number one achievement of the Biden administration according to the Biden administration? The number one thing that they accomplished during their administration.
Well, it's not going to be 9+% inflation. I would say maybe job creation.
Inflation Reduction Act.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
that's their major legislative achievement. How do you campaign if you're Kamala Harris running around the country going, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, guys? Y'all named it that. How do you campaign on Bidenomics? You don't. It was as if the fix were in. Now, there are many that believe that she was the fall girl. And I think maybe there's some wisdom in that too. I mean, here's the deal. They knew Biden was about to get hammered. And they I think felt like, well, look, it's a Hail Mary, but it's our Hail Mary. And even if it fails, at least we've gotten her out of the way for 2028, which is exactly what's happened. I mean, Kamala Harris will, thankfully, after 3 p.m. Is it now 3 p.m., that concession speech? I think that's right. I saw 4 p.m. Eastern time that she's offering a concession speech, if I'm not mistaken, which would be right in the transition between Matt Murphy and the drive with Brian Wilson. Why she didn't do it last night, I suppose they were trying to figure out how they could steal it through the legal system, or how they could I won't say steal it, how they could finagle it through the legal system. But as I said last night to listeners as we were filing out at about 12:15, 12:20 in the evening, going home to watch some of the proceedings there, what are you going to do? You're going to file lawsuits in 5 different states? I mean, he won the popular vote. He won the popular vote. You defeated Kamala Harris, where the Joe Biden regime in 2020 lived and breathed in Wisconsin and Michigan and, of course, Pennsylvania. Suburban and rural voters all broke for Trump. This is a fascinating testimony to the resilient nature of Trump supporters and to the intelligence of the American people. Now, as I said at the beginning, some have fallen prey, and it's easy to laugh at them. I mean, they're all over the internet right now. They're crying. I had to go into the bathroom and cry for my family because Kamala Harris isn't going to win. Just suck it up, Buttercup. The world's going to go on for you. And maybe reflect on the things that you've been lied to about. Maybe reflect on the fact that Donald Trump is not an authoritarian, that Donald Trump is not going to change the Constitution of the United States of America, that Donald Trump goes into his second term, be it non-sequential, his second term as president as a lame duck. Understand that Donald Trump is going to attempt to advance things that benefit the United States of America. And he is not coming after you. He's not coming after your family. He's not coming after, and frankly, I'll say this too. I think Florida passed their abortion, I think that amendment in Florida passed. I think I have this right here. But in Missouri voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump and at the same time voted to certify abortion in their state as a legal right under certain parameters and certain limits. I think there's a weak restriction on it, a weak being WEEK. So the same people that went to the polls to say, hey, we want to make sure that, in Missouri we still have some right to abortion in the early stages, those same people voted for Donald Trump because they didn't buy into he wants to ban abortions because we know better. We're smarter than that. Almost every argument made by Democrats over the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, were just phony. and people saw through it. I was worried that they would not. I'm naturally a pessimist. I admit my pessimism, and y'all can pick on me. That's okay. I'm naturally a pessimist, but I'm so optimistic because the United States of America saw through the mainstream media narrative. Now, mainstream media's got some reflecting to do as well, because they went all in and they felt empowered to go all in on declaring that Donald Trump was Hitler. Hashtag never CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, all of the rest.
Literally Hitler.
Yeah, literally Hitler. Literally Hitler. Will they reflect on the things that they have done to perhaps lose their way? Will they understand why we do not have faith in them? Or will they double down and attempt to destroy him? Remains to be seen. Mr. Jimmy's in Shelbyville. Hey, Mr. Jimmy.
Hey, how you doing? I just wanted to congratulate everybody. Congratulate us on last night's win. I'm sorry that I couldn't be over there with y'all.
Well, I'm sorry you couldn't either, Mr. Jimmy. You feeling better after that pacemaker replacement? You doing okay? Yeah? Good. Well,
doing 1 o'clock hour. How about playing a little Floyd Kramer or Jerry Lee piano music?
I tell you what, I'm going to play a little Jerry Lee Lewis just for you, okay?
Okay.
Just for you. I'll give you some of the killer. Mr. Jimmy, thank you, and God bless you. I appreciate you calling in. Richard is in Nolensville next. Hello, Richard.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah.
Just wanted to espouse for your consideration the level 15 boss move for Trump to get in office and pardon Joe Biden on day one. In history, wondering what did he get pardoned for? And if we also commute Hunter's sentence, it just gives us the high road where we can say we're going to stop doing this, folks.
Oh, Richard, can you hear him? I can hear him say, in the spirit of Jimmy Carter. You know, because it wasn't no, maybe it was Gerald Ford. I think it was Gerald Ford, actually, that pardoned Nixon. Was Gerald Ford?
Yeah.
In the spirit of Gerald Ford, we want to move forward with the country. And for all of the crimes committed against the United States, I hereby pardon former President Joe Biden. I don't know. Yeah, it would be a boss move because you look to the American people and say, I don't want Joe Biden and his family to have to go through what I went through and what my family went through. And I'm not going to sink as low as these scummy human beings sunk in their attempt to get me. So, yeah. I thought of this too, Richard. Another great, if Democrats want to feel, and thank you for the call, if Democrats want to feel a little bit better about themselves today, I mean, I'm just trying to give Democrats hope, liberals hope. Hey, Joe Biden has carte blanche to pardon Hunter now. I mean, good for you. Way to go. Let's just go ahead and get that pardon paperwork. I mean, does anybody have any illusions that that's happening very, very soon? Yeah, my Trump voice, I just got kudos on my Trump voice is typically better if I've had less sleep and I've done a lot of talking and my voice goes down a register. And then I can get in the gravel. You get in the gravelly voice and you've got a Trump. Love it. Love everything about it. 51 after the hour. We'll continue taking your calls, getting your reaction on Super Talk 99.7 WTN and The Matt Murphy Show. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and all month long for the month of November, our friends at Craft Body Scan are offering their incredible heart and lung scan for couples for only $149. These couples' heart and lung scans are valued at over $2,500. An incredible savings for anyone looking for a simple and non-invasive way to check their heart and their lungs and to check out their health. These scans can be game changers, folks. We've heard stories after story after story of lives saved. I mean, and this is not me exaggerating. People go in, they get a scan, they don't necessarily feel anything. They just want a better peace of mind. I've done it, and I hope that you do it as well. And then they find something there that they don't feel, but they find it. And you go in, and it could be, whatever it might be from a heart or a lung perspective. They see it through the CT scan technology, and they find it before it is too late. So this month, take a proactive step toward better health and a great savings, $149 for you and your spouse, a couple's heart and lung scan. TogetherWeScan.com. That's TogetherWeScan.com, or call 615-436-1000. The Tennessee Men's Clinic provides incredible customer service for the men that walk through their doors. I don't talk about it enough. Their qualified urologists are sensitive to your needs, men, and they understand that every man is different. So where you might be in your journey to a loss of energy or a loss of intimacy might be different than the guy that came before you or the guy that comes after you. Obviously, they're going to be private in those conversations, and obviously they're going to tailor their results designed to fit your needs. So wherever you are on your journey, it's time to get back right in the ring with Tennessee Men's Clinic. Give them a call at 615-208-9090 to schedule an appointment. 2 convenient locations. One's in Midtown, been there since 2014. The other opened last year in Cool Springs. It's Tennessee Men's Clinic. Find out more at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Gentlemen, if you're not feeling energetic, if you're feeling low down, it's time to get right with the Tennessee Men's Clinic.
Harris just lost Michigan, too. Nashville's mayor wasting no time on his transit tax victory. These stories and more coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, we have not spent a lot of time in the first hour talking about some of the local races and some of the statewide races and other things going on. Obviously, Andy Ogles winning re-election to Congress. A lot of people hitting me up going, ha, ha, ha. I never said I didn't want Andy to win. I just didn't know where Andy was. And I didn't feel like he was very responsive to his constituents in the last several months of the campaign. But, you know, it's a reliable conservative vote, I suppose. Hopefully his FBI issues work themselves out. So congrats to Andy. And then there's the transit tax issue, which apparently I just found out from Ken Weaver passed. So there you go. Kamala Harris has called Donald Trump and conceded the election. This happening about 10 minutes ago. Kamala Harris called Donald Trump and concedes in a telephone call, according to a senior aide. I'll tell you what. More specifically, she said to Donald Trump, she's expected to talk in a couple of hours to the American people for what it is worth, but she has made a call to the former and future president of the United States of America.
Do we know if she asked for an appointment in the dictatorship?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe she could be head of coconut trees. Or school buses. More on that call coming up in just a moment. Right now it's time for news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Yeah, Vice President Kamala Harris has called former President Trump, who is now President-elect Donald Trump. Harris conceding victory to him. Trump's campaign team celebrating after defeating Harris in the race for president, and now they're celebrating Michigan, too.
For a lot of these states, especially in the blue wall, when you talk about Michigan, that's a place where the Vice President Kamala Harris spent a lot of time and resources. And so I'm sure for her campaign, you know, whenever they're looking back at what went wrong, that's going to be one of the places they focus on because a lot of resources went into Michigan.
Justice Department officials have been evaluating how to wind down the 2 federal criminal cases against President-elect Trump before he takes office to comply with long-standing department policy that a sitting president can't be prosecuted. Right now in Nashville, Mayor Freddie O'Connell wasting no time now that voters have green-lighted a sales tax increase to help pay for the Choose How You Move transit plan he says will make life better through more sidewalks, improving traffic signals, and expanding the bus system to 24/7 with transfer stations across Metro.
Today we'll get really moving on an issue that impacts us all no matter where you live in the city or what you earn. And we're moving forward together. Thank you, Nashville, for your trust. While we've been talking about this for a long time, our congestion has been building. The price to fix it has gotten more expensive, along with the cost of living.
It's a 15-year plan, but the mayor says you can expect to start seeing some initial changes like sidewalks and upgraded traffic signals within a year. Also in Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee and legislative leaders today announced another run at school vouchers. The Education Freedom Act of 2025 aims to provide 20,000 scholarships for Tennessee students starting in the 2025-2026 school year and make sure no money is taken away from public K-12 through disenrollment. Hurricane Raphael strengthening to a Major 3 hurricane as it neared the coast of Cuba this afternoon. Raphael expected to bring life-threatening storm surge, hurricane-force winds, flash flooding to the western part of the island, then move into the Gulf tomorrow and start weakening. Raphael isn't posing a major threat to the U.S. Gulf Coast. And the strongest Santa Ana wind event of the year is hitting Southern California, and already large wildfires growing quickly in the wind, Alex Stone tells us.
It's an extreme and dangerous wind situation today through Thursday night. 100-mile-per-hour winds in some areas north of L.A. People are being told in rare warnings that their lives will be in danger if fires start because they will run so quickly. Already 2 large wildfires are threatening areas. One is in Ventura County, the other in Malibu. In that Malibu fire, homes are burning.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
As I get out and about in the community, and even last night, people walked up to me and they said, Matt, what could be more savory and delicious than a Trump victory? Well, I'm here to tell you not much, but Savory Spice is close. The friends at Savory Spice provide the incredible flavors that make food so delicious, and they can provide them to you as well. Now, you're thinking to yourself, well, Murphy, I'm not a qualified chef. I don't know my way around a kitchen. That's for those people who do all of those fancy dishes. No. They've got the Spice and Easy line of products. They've got stuff as easy as popcorn sprinkle, which is absolutely delicious. Belle Kay got that for Christmas one time. I'm telling you, folks, they've got something for every taste. They've got something for a lot of different budgets and for every skill level in the kitchen. They have something for you, whether it's chili on a cool fall evening, whether it's tailgating food, or if you're getting ready for Thanksgiving. Savory Spice is your one-stop shop for all of those things. 2 locations. One's in Ellen. I guess that makes your two-stop shop, not your one-stop shop, because there's 2 locations. One's in L&L Market in Nashville, the other just off the square in Franklin. Tell Holly, David, and the rest of the team Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Savory Spice. How are we feeling this afternoon? Good afternoon. Welcome back. Welcome in for those of you who are latecomers. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Libertarian Lunch is done. We continue with hour number 2 of Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, a part of live and local conversation starting early in the morning. Well, it was live all night with Red Eye Radio. Then Dan Mandis popped in. It's my understanding, Bell, Dan was with us. So the setup last night at election night is that all 4 of us were there, the 4 local hosts, obviously, and we had anticipated to go till midnight. Ken Weaver was back at home base, and Chris Weber and Jeff Malinoff were helping out. And by the way, a team of pros from our engineering staff to our on-site technical crew with Kirby and Mike Buckner, our chief engineer, was there last night to make sure that everything ran flawlessly. Cool for him. We had about 700 or so people at the big facility at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. And once again, thank you to all of you who stopped by and made our event a part of your evening. But the four of us were there, and Brian had already done however many hours of radio. And so the anticipation was that Chris and I might take it from 10 to midnight or from 11 to midnight to give Mandis an opportunity to go home, to give Brian an opportunity for a rest. And neither of them left because it was just too exciting. It was too dramatic. We did not feel like it was going to be into today or tomorrow. By 9:30 or 10 o'clock, we were like, this thing is going to happen tonight, and we've got to be here for it, or at least be here until Red Eye Radio's here for it. And it was close. We almost got a chance to announce Pennsylvania. I will not forget for the rest of my life the moment that Brian Wilson and I are sitting there looking at our maps just waiting forever for Georgia to turn red. And everybody knew that Georgia was going red. And we were just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm talking about something, and Brian was like, there it is, as Georgia turned red. So we're all very excited. All that to say, Mandis, I think, got 30 minutes of sleep. Which is,
if that,
probably not even that. I don't know that I did a heck of a lot better. I probably got 4 hours. I think I got in bed at 4-ish, 30-ish, something like that. But a lot of excitement today and just running on adrenaline with the news that the American people are smarter than the mainstream media gave them credit for, and sure as heck smarter than the Democrats gave them credit for, as they have we, the American people, have secured the next presidency for now President-elect Donald J. Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. Love to hear from you, your thoughts on it. 615-737-9986. 615-737-WWTN. We'd love to hear from you.
I've been watching Twitter, and it's hilarious that the reaction isn't, well, she should have done this or she should have done that or this happened or that happened. It's America's stupid. So that's the reaction to her being not elected, not voted for. You're stupid.
No. My favorite was last night. It was going round that America voted, that the majority of the American people voted against democracy last night. What in the hell
That's
are you
like
people?
those tweets where they say this list of senators and congressmen voted to overturn the election results.
Right.
They voted to overturn the election results. What the hell are you talking about?
So, America voted against democracy. Okie dokie. Whatever gets you through the day, folks. Whatever gets you through the day. The other one that I saw from liberals is America turned back our clocks last weekend, and MAGA turned back this country last night. Shut up. Y'all get over it. None of these pronouncements are true. Donald Trump is no dictator. He's no authoritarian. Y'all just decided that was the best way to try to beat him, and it did not work. Did not work. Now, as a haircut update, it is Locks for Trump Day 249. We continue counting those up in anticipation of a haircut someday down the road. I have imagined what can be, unburdened by what has been. And now I am free to cut my hair in any fashion of my choosing. But I think I'm going to choose to keep it long until Inauguration Day because that's just the fun of it. So there's that. Then there's this. Before we get to your calls. Kamala Harris has called Donald Trump, as reported by Ken Weaver in the newsroom moments ago, and offered a concession to Donald Trump. Per a senior Harris aide, quote, Vice President Harris called President-elect Trump to congratulate him on winning the 2024 presidential election.
I have a snippet of that phone call if you'd like to hear it.
Hold on. Go ahead. You go first. I think that was probably at the end. That's probably right at the end. Oh, by the way, yeah. I wonder how Taylor Swift's doing today. Think she's doing all right?
Dude, she's about to wrap up a tour that made her $1 billion. You think she cares, really?
Apparently.
She doesn't care. She's going to go right back to her.
Then why'd she do it, Bell?
Her Learjets.
No, don't get me pissed. Why'd she do it then? If she didn't care, why'd she do it?
Because I think she just wanted to be able to stick her nose out there.
Because she's woke as crap. That's why she did it. That's exactly why she did. That's okay. You can still like her music.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the standpoint of none of this affects her because she's so friggin' rich that she could have kept her mouth shut or gone on the road with her and it still wouldn't impact her.
I don't know. I think Taylor could have done a lot more, Bell. I don't think Taylor did enough. I think Taylor needs to be held to account by all of those Swifties out there that are crying about not being able to have abortions or whatever the hell they're crying about today.
She had that giant screen, and never once did she put "Vote Kamala" up on it.
I'll say this, and I was giving you hell 20 seconds ago about it, but I'll say this. She's just woke enough and cares enough that she'll step out and go, "Hey, vote for her." But she's not stupid. She's some businesswoman.
She's not a dummy.
And she did not cram it down her audience's throat in the way that she probably could have. And I'm sure the Democrats are blaming her for that today. The real concession was this. Vice President Harris called President-elect Trump to congratulate him on winning the 2024 presidential election. She discussed the importance of a peaceful transfer of power. Well, good for you. Oh, that's nice that you guys are going to have a peaceful transfer of power. That's good. And being president for all Americans. Oh, well, isn't that sweet? Isn't that swell? Harris is expected to speak publicly for the first time since polls closed in this report said a little more than 2 hours from now. I'm getting conflicting reports about when she's talking. I heard it was 3 o'clock Central Time. I've heard it was 4 o'clock Central Time. And I'm gonna get some confirmation on that.
Well, I know who won't be talking.
Who's that?
According to the Daily Wire, apparently Jack Smith is not going to be talking anymore. The Department of Justice has removed him as special counsel.
Wait a minute, he got removed?
Yeah, it says, let's see, Daily Wire says DOJ getting rid of Jack Smith before Trump takes office. Dropping federal cases.
I think that's I don't know. That just makes me very pleased about everything. Special counsel Jack Smith.
Jack Smith
will end all the Trump cases, and he's out. So there you go. Imagine that. Apparently they're not going to pursue. I wonder if they're going to sentence him in New York. I mean, that's a different deal. That's a New York stakeout, right? I mean, are you going to sentence the man? He's the president-elect of the United States of America. All of that garbage didn't work, y'all. Might as well just go pack him up, turn out the lights, and go on home. I mean, it's going to be an interesting.
It is interesting what is going on right now, man. It is just a constant trickle of just news.
Well,
just something else. Every hour there's something else coming up.
There's a lot of confused liberals right now, especially D.C.-based liberals, because they live in this bubble where everybody that they know is a Democrat or at least a bureaucrat. But I repeat myself. All of the bureaucrats are just confused as can be about how any of this could be happening right now. But happen it is. And that's an interesting development, breaking news out of the newsroom from Ken Weaver. Jack Smith shutting down all those cases and turning out the lights and packing it up and taking it on to the House.
Yep.
Might as well do it now because I damn sure know you're going to be doing it in January. You know what I mean? Might as well get ahead of the holidays, I guess. Jimmy is in Cookeville talking about the transition. Jimmy, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing good, man. Long-time listener, first-time caller, man.
I'm glad you're here, Jimmy. Thank you.
Wanted to scratch your head a little bit and get your opinion. You know, when Trump transitioned in 2016, he had an uphill battle, kind of pushing a rope against the Republicans. But obviously the party's changed a lot since then. What's your thoughts? I mean, obviously some of the establishment's still there. What's your thoughts, as he transitions in this time? And, yes, he's going to have the House and the Senate. He had that in 2016. Think we'll be able to get a lot done this time as opposed to then?
I mean, he got a lot done in the executive branch early on in his presidency, despite the attempt by Democrats to delegitimize him immediately, right, from the jump. I do not believe that we were going – I do not – now, who knows what the Democrats are going to come up with in the next month or two, Jimmy? But I don't believe they're going to revisit the whole Russia collusion, delegitimizing him as president of the United States. I mean, this It's a mandate. He won the popular vote. He won far more votes this time around than he ever did in 2016. So I don't think you're going to see all of that Russian collusion nonsense. I don't think you're going to see any investigations against him anytime soon because, they just don't have the power to do so, and they don't have the mandate to do so. And I think they realize that.
I
Go
agree
ahead.
with that. I agree with that completely. I'm just hoping that within the Republican Party that he doesn't meet resistance and we can get some stuff passed that would stay on the books past an executive order.
So I think that this party, with few exceptions, is Donald Trump's party now. Mitch McConnell is about to step down as Speaker, as Senate Majority Leader. So he will not be the majority leader in the newly formed Senate where the Republicans take over. That'll be John Thune. I think Rick Scott out of Florida is going to throw his hat in the ring. It's a private vote. It's a secret ballot vote. But I have to feel like whomever will be the Senate Majority Leader will expect that they have to work in close connection and concert with the President of the United States. So I don't think you're going to see any resistance over there. Look, this is a confirmation that Donald Trump's version of populism is where the Republican Party has gone. We're going to have time to dissect what this means for the GOP, but the GOP establishment needs to, if they have not already, concede that Donald Trump is running the show. And we need to allow Donald Trump to do what he wants to do. And if we have the House and the Senate, you still have to go up against Democrats in the Senate. You probably are going to have at best 54 seats. And obviously the filibuster remains in the Senate. They're not going to destroy American traditions because of the whims of the moment. But I just feel like Republicans are going to be in lockstep. The only resistance you'll get is filibuster from the Democrats over some of these bigger issues in the United States Senate, in my opinion.
That sounds good. I hope that we're good.
Yeah, I do too. But I think, the Democrats have precious little power to do anything about this outside of the filibuster in the Senate, and they'll utilize that as best they can. Folks, in 2016, I'm old enough to remember, it was considered kind of a mistake. Republicans, a lot of Republicans in 2016 before the election happened would call me with regularity. I was in Birmingham, Alabama at the time, and I would get regular calls from prominent Republicans on and off the air that said, this is a horrible mistake. What is America doing? We are handing the presidency to Hillary Clinton, they said. And even in the aftermath of his election, they were so shocked that he actually accomplished the task. They were willing to, many of them, acquiesce to many of the things that Democrats were demanding. You need to investigate Russia collusion. You need to investigate his involvement with Putin and all this nonsense. They went along with it. The D.C. establishment went along with it. COVID-19 put everyone off their game, and 2020, turns out 2020 was the outlier, not 2016, and sure as hell not 2024. And I think any never-Trumper Republicans would do well to recognize that. Donald Trump has changed politics in America and the world permanently. You can decide for yourself whether it's for the better or the good. I believe it's for the better because I am more of a populist than many of my establishment conservative or Republican friends. And I think Donald Trump brings that to America. And for those that haven't been aware of it up until now, I don't know how more aware you can be than what last night taught us. 21 after the hour, a lot of folks want to get on board, and we're going to take your calls. Today is your day to respond to what happened last night on Super Talk 99.7 WTN and The Matt Murphy Show. One of the number one questions that I get from listeners, how can I get into the conservative fight above and beyond my vote? Well, it's critical to know where your money goes. Most credit card companies, sadly, funnel millions of dollars to the political left. to left-leaning causes and woke causes. But now you have a choice. Coin is America's conservative credit card. You earn cash back while fighting back against the liberal agenda. Apply today at coin.com. That's COIGN.com. Spell that right now. COIGN.com. Terms apply. Go to coin.com/disclosures for full details.
Harris makes a call. President-elect Trump's transition team already at it, and Governor Lee and leading state lawmakers making another run at school vouchers. That's coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, thank you, Ken Weaver. Belkay, I've got a list. It's a growing list. I think I want you to do me a favor. William Tell Overture. Bam, the Lone Ranger theme.
Lone Ranger theme, yes.
Yeah, find that for me.
Okay.
Because after the bottom of the hour, I'm going to present to you, at least as I have it, the list of people that now have to leave the country. Told to you by Matt Murphy with the background of the William Tell Overture.
Speaking of which, has anybody checked on Rob Reiner? Did he stroke out? I mean, I want the spinal. I want the Spinal Tap sequel. I don't want him dead.
That is a special bonus to the people that are going to now leave the country. So we'll do that at the bottom. I have an update.
Do you want the original version or just a version?
I want I want the Lone Ranger is what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. All right. Until then, let's talk with who's been holding the longest. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Vince in the borough. Hey, Vince.
Hey, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well, Vince. Thank you for calling.
I've got a suggestion for you for your haircut.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of St. Baldrick's Day?
St. Baldrick's Day?
Correct.
I have not.
It is a fundraiser to end childhood cancer. And what it is a bunch of people grow their hair out, and on a particular day, I think it's going to be in April, here at Riverdale High School, everybody shaves their heads, shaves their faces, and it's just a raucous time there at the in the gymnasium.
That sounds like a fun time.
It would be a great way, I think, for you to bring a lot of notoriety to it and maybe bring in an awful lot of donations.
Well, obviously, I love giving to good charity. My mother died ultimately of brain cancer, so obviously these types of things are near and dear to my heart. Childhood cancer is an aberration, and we need to do everything we can to wipe it out. That said,
Absolutely.
Vince, on the other side, I have a very, very lumpy head. So you wait.
Well, mine isn't very pretty, I'll tell you that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will certainly put it on the list and take it under advisement. And regardless of whether or not I agree to shave my head on St. Baldrick's Day, I will do everything in my power to draw awareness to what sounds like a great day and a wonderful cause.
All righty. I sent you a text earlier, too, and my phone number's on it if you got any questions or want to ask anything about it.
I will do so, Vince. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the text. And already we have longtime listeners weighing in saying, I've seen you, Matt. I don't think it's a good idea for you to shave your head either. I think I can raise money without doing the head shaving thing.
Dude, I think you need to just keep growing it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, why not? You know what, Ken Weaver? I'm not cutting my hair till we have a new president-elect.
There you go.
2028. Also, I need a number for a divorce attorney. No, I'm going to shape it up before the inauguration day, but I don't think I'm getting rid of it before inauguration day. I like it too much. Might thin it out and, get a little off the bottom. But Gabby is next in Scottsville, Kentucky. Hello, Gabby. Hey, Gabby. Uh-oh. It's been 25 years of experience.
Hey,
Man, Gabby, you proved me wrong. How are you?
No, it's Debbie.
Oh, it's Debbie. Oh. Were you talking a lot to Belle when you called in? Because that's maybe why you put Gabby on the phone.
No.
That's just a
But,
joke,
hey,
Debbie.
You just asked how are we feeling?
How you feeling, Debbie?
Okay, well, I can't get the song out of my head. Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. We are all so happy. It's just like, praise God. I want to praise God because he made it too big to rig. And, weren't we all like, if that happens again, we're going to scream, right?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I do. And I just
we all kind of thought that Philadelphia had an issue. And, I'm like, no, do not start this again.
No, Dan and I, last night, I don't know if you happen to be listening. Last night in the 11 o'clock hour, Dan and I, Dan more so than me, because, I didn't want to pour cold water over a wonderful event, but I was so concerned. And thank you, Debbie, for the call. I got to get into the news. I was so concerned that there might be some sort of weird shenanigans going on, but it was too much. It was too much. Couldn't do it. And it has restored faith that I have in America. I understand a lot of liberals are sucking their thumbs right now. They'll get over it. They'll get over it and maybe see the error of your ways. Maybe understand that America is not as woke as you thought, that we're not ready for socialism quite yet. It is 30 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Election 2024, Vice President Harris called President-elect Trump today to congratulate him on winning the presidential election. Then a senior Harris aide throws this in, saying that Harris discussed the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and being a president for all Americans. Here's Michelle Franzen.
Donald Trump taking a victory lap after his historic win against Vice President Kamala Harris. ABC's John Santucci says the former president's team now working on the transfer of power.
This is a team that now knows how to do this. They have gone through a transition before. So one of the things that we will be watching out for is how much of the federal government apparatus do they work through. There is an agency that is set up to deal with transitions called the GSA, General Services Administration, and it's our understanding that Team Trump has not had those conversations yet, but could begin in the coming days and certainly weeks to come.
Republicans also gained control in the Senate. House races still being tallied. Vice President Kamala Harris expected to deliver a speech this afternoon. A Biden administration official says President Biden will speak to the former president today to offer congratulations and address the nation tomorrow.
And special counsel Jack Smith is in active talks with senior leadership at the Justice Department, evaluating ways he can end his prosecutions of President-elect Donald Trump. Sources familiar with the matter telling ABC News. Right now in Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee and legislative leaders are making another run at school vouchers. This morning, they announced the Education Freedom Act of 2025. Lee says this will allow every Tennessee family to choose the educational path that best fits their child's needs. Some of the details in this one include making sure state funding to school districts will not decrease due to disenrollment, $2,000 bonuses for every teacher in the state, and 80% of all sports wagering dollars will be dedicated to building and maintaining K-12 public school facilities. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Slow going. Will dry out tomorrow afternoon, but we are going to stay cooler in the low 70s. 70s on Friday. Many of us are dry, and then more showers and even a couple rumbles of thunder return.
You know, most investment comes from education places, and sadly, a lot of investors take you places where they're trying to sell you something instead of giving you the full-fledged education that you need to make a decision on your own. Paul Winkler is a part of the latter group. Paul Winkler believes education is important. That's why he has made his living educating people about the proper way to invest and allowing you to make those educated decisions. Here's a great example. Paul Winkler does not recommend and never will recommend deferred annuities because they're just not used for the purpose for which they were designed, which is to pay a lifetime income. Advisors sadly sell the stuff and you know they don't use it for the purpose it was originally intended. So wouldn't it be nice to be with an investment firm that represents you versus representing the investment provider? It's so important that you do this. Call Paul Winkler today and schedule an appointment, 615-851-1950. 615-851-1950. You go to paulwinkler.com for a 15-minute telephone conversation. He'd love to talk with you. Paul Winkler and paulwinkler.com. Hello, folks. It's Matt Murphy for Brentwood Hearing Center. Brentwood Hearing Center has been around for the last 30 years, and Ronnie and his team of audiologists have been helping people just like you hear better as a result. Their team of doctors are always committed to providing over that length of time the most recent hearing devices and technology. And right now, I'm happy to introduce to you the Phonak Sphere, which is dedicated to helping patients hear well in situations where there's background noise. Like, for example, last night at our big event, 700 people in a room, a lot of folks talking. Well, you can hear better, more clearly to the speech with the Phonak Sphere. If you're having difficulty hearing in conversations, ask about this when you make the call. Or if you're having difficulty hearing at all, it's time to do something about that with Brentwood Hearing Center. They like to say better hearing for a better life, and it's true. Brentwood Hearing Center, call them today at 615-377-0420, 377-0420, or BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. I mean, it's an enormous ship that just came to port last evening, and there's a lot to unpack off that ship. A lot of different angles, a lot of different ways to talk about the woodshed whooping that Kamala Harris just received from Donald Trump, and a lot of things to. I mean, my biggest takeaway, and I'll continue talking with you about this on the phones as we welcome in our own Cameron Smith of the Tennessean. He also subs in from us from time to time. Missed you last night. I'm sorry that you couldn't be there.
I heard it was a big shindig.
It was a big shindig, and you were planning on coming. You had a little family issue that you had to take care of. But
teenagers are the best, man. They're just, if you ever have an opportunity to acquire some, you should be just throw them back.
I don't know. If it's a stock, I think I might be selling.
Yeah,
I think
it's. Hopefully, they'll survive this and
we
keep going.
We did, so
Yeah,
you feel like you shall overcome. Before I get back to the phone calls, I mean, Ray has chimed in and wants to say hello.
Hello, Ray.
What's your takeaway?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this to me is a sea change. It's not just a marginal win. Okay, we're going to go back to being the same old, same old. This was, we appreciate being condescended to less than we mind being offended.
I think it's all about authenticity.
Yeah.
I think the American people looked at what the Democrats were saying, and they're like, we don't believe you. You don't really have an answer for any of this. I mean, there's a lot of things to unpack over there. But bottom line is, you're plastic politician saying what you think we want to hear. This guy, for better or worse, he's just shooting straight.
Well, and I had to look around, and Ray will like this. And you've seen my columns over the last couple of weeks that are, when I looked around, I realized that, like, I fight with folks because I'm a boring sort of Reagan conservative in a populist moment where I'm not in the majority. And we have these exchanges, right? The back and forth. We disagree and we talk about it. But, guess what? I still get to be in the tent, right? The Democrats welcome me with open arms as long as I don't disagree with them. And that, to me, is just a non-starter. It is you can't disagree. This is the truth. You just don't understand if you disagree with us. Like, you must be stupid.
Yeah, or stupid or racist.
Yes.
Right.
And that, to me, just, I can't. It is a non-starter, and it's something that Democrats need to wrestle with, and I don't think they will.
I said it wrong earlier today, and I need to correct it anyway, but it illustrates your point. Part of the demonization of the political right and the Trump movement altogether was to try to convince brown people that are here legally that he hates you too.
Yes.
It's not just about illegal immigration. It's about you and him hating brown people.
Yep.
In Texas, the most Hispanic county in the United States of America, 97% Hispanic, voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Voted for Trump. Donald Trump received more Latino votes in the 2024 election cycle than any Republican since 1972 in our lifetime. That tells me that the American people are paying attention, and they're tired of being told how to think. They just want information so they can absorb information and figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, and I saw this last night. This was strange. I looked at the Tennessee Secretary of State's website, and all the information was already up. And then I look at the newscast, and they're still, like, way behind. And I'm like, wait, man, this is weird. There's a lot of high drama on the newscast, but, like, I just started going by state, and they're like, these are already here.
What's his name over in Georgia, the secretary? Raffensperger. He had, I mean, as much maligned as he was in 2020 by a lot of conservative Republicans, he, like an hour before anybody would touch Georgia, he said it was 93%, sat there forever. And I'm watching and we're waiting. And then he came out and said based on the counties we have out, there's no statistical way that she's going to overcome this. The Secretary of State says this, and the network still won't call it.
Right.
And because I think they clearly put their thumb on the scale. They were open about it. They felt like that they had carte blanche to do so, and they were just going to keep it there until all hope was lost.
Well, in the notion, this whole punish the enemies thing, right? This has been a big one. The left has been like, well, Trump will punish his enemies. Okay, but here's the problem. The vice president-elect burned him up one side and down the other, and then was like, yeah, I've changed. I'm okay. I like this guy. He's the vice president-elect. You know, Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, he and Trump clashed, just butted heads. It's like, hey, you know, we won. We did really well. Awesome. Let's get after it. And it's actually the folks on the left that are, oh, no. If you disagree with us, we hate you forever. You're garbage.
Yeah, they would never say that.
No, but the problem is they did and actually meant it. It wasn't a misstep. It is, if you disagree with us, they want every kind of diversity except for ideological.
I would give the caller credit if I could remember his name in name, but I will say that a caller called us earlier, and their suggestion was a total boss move on day one of your 47th presidency, or the 47th president of the United States. Trump pardons Joe Biden. Just kind of a blanket.
In case.
You know, just to say, I mean, you know, but you come out and you say, listen, with everything that's my family's gone through over the past 4 years, with all this lawfare and whatever, we need to put this behind us. I never want the Biden family to have to go through what they put us through.
Sure.
That's a baller move. Well, I don't know if he'll do it or
He
not.
doesn't. What I hope he does is just wreck the administrative state. Because he said he was going to do that the first time, and then between different hires and other things, he kind of got tied up. You got 2 years, especially if you get the House. You got 2 years to do everything you want to do, and nobody can stop you. So do it.
And I believe that, and we had a caller ask, and you might be a good person to reflect on this, and I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to reinforce negative stereotypes about my good friend Cameron Smith, right? Establishment, because that's a bad word now, right?
It's fine.
But the caller was like, is he going to get resistance from Republicans? And I was like, look, the first time around he did, because there were a lot of people going, this is a mistake. And all through 2016, a lot of people legitimately said, this is going to end horribly. And somehow he won. And so they were still smarting over that. And some of the establishment Republicans like, look, you think you can come in here and upset the apple cart, get over yourself, you can't do it. And so they went along with a lot of the Democrat ideas about Russian collusion, these types of things. This, with the popular vote and the level of mandate, and if they keep the House, I don't know that you're going – I mean, Republicans are always going to talk amongst themselves about the best way to get things done. But he's the clear leader of the Republican Party, and that's obvious that he's president, but it's even more obvious than ever in terms of D.C. and its establishment.
Yeah, and I've been disappointing people my whole life. Just because I don't bend the knee to anybody, whether that's Donald Trump or the woke left. I want to be a free American, right? And that to me is, I've always been skeptical of the political class. That will never change. But here's what I remember. We got the Affordable Care Act because Nancy Pelosi was willing to burn her entire amount of political capital on one thing. I think right now is the moment where Republicans, from Ray to whatever opposite of Ray is on the Republican side, need to say, you know what? Let's burn the ships. Let's spend our capital reining in this monolithic administrative state and go for it. You know, will there be a political correction? Sure. But we have it, and we need to do it because it's the right thing to do.
One thing that he did in 2016, he attempted to make good. I mean, I don't believe that the guy's making – I mean, he speaks in hyperbole, but I don't think the guy makes promises that he doesn't intend on keeping. And when he talks about Elon Musk as the Department of Government Efficiency, I know it's a harder nut to crack than a campaign speech, but I think he believes it.
He doesn't even have to. Like, the GAO has been churning out things left and right saying, just do this, fix this. Like, he could just pick those up and do them. If he would just do that, I think the big issue right now is Republicans have a choice to make. You can either say, hey, we need to go for broke here and do what's right because it needs to be done, or just say no.
We'll get back to calls in a second. A lot of people responding to Cameron's presence on the show, as you might expect. But here's the best text that you've gotten. And the question is, and I've pulled up the picture that came with the text. Did Cameron Smith know about Peanut and Fred last Friday?
I did not. It was purely coincidental.
So if you don't know, Peanut and Fred are the two critters, the squirrel and the raccoon, pets of this guy who got taken by the federal government.
Rated C's and euthanized.
I mean, my God. And so he sent a picture with Peanut and Fred. For some reason, they're both in military uniforms.
Yeah.
And it says in memorandum honoring the courage of our fallen friends.
Yeah, you don't think for a minute I'm letting this go. We're going to talk about the election and do that stuff, but like the raccoon illegality, I'm going to get after that.
I'm very excited because we're going to get over the excitement of the moment of the election and winning's better than losing. And then eventually we're going to get to this before January, and we're going to make it a cause.
It is.
I mean, it
Not
is
joking.
a cause.
There's going to be a one-pager. We'll circulate it to you guys.
That's right.
We're going to be calling legislators and saying, why is the nanny state stopping us from having pet raccoons?
I mean, that's or squirrels.
Or squirrels.
Or squirrels.
Well, let's bring them together.
I mean, I don't know if there's enough interest. I mean, maybe I don't want to get ahead of myself and call it the Fred and Peanut bill, but whatever. We'll figure it out.
Let's do it.
We need to do it. All right. Chris is in Lebanon with a thought next. Hey, Chris, glad you called.
Hello, Matt.
Hey, Chris.
I know you remember the ad advising women to lie to their husbands about their vote, but did you see Jill Biden sporting a red pantsuit this morning?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday, election day. Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just checking.
I don't think Jill. If the conspiracy theories are true, I don't think Jill had to lie to Joe about how she was voting yesterday.
Yeah. What's funny is they didn't lie to their husbands; they lied to their liberal girlfriends. Girls' night's going to be so awkward now.
Thank you, Chris, for the call. Good. I think that Chris was like, tell the joke, drop the mic, and leave. I like that. Joshua's next up in Nash. Hey, Josh.
Hi. I just wanted to say, I think that this election has really shown, I hope it has shown the Democratic, the Democrat Party that we are sick and tired of the virtue signaling and the woke agenda and being called racist and being called homophobic and transphobic and all the stuff. And I think it's hopefully they take it as a wake-up call that, hey, maybe this isn't working.
Joshua, great point, and I appreciate you calling today, and we'll get some reflection from Cameron on this. Here's my takeaway on it. And these virtue signalers, to use his phrase, on mainstream media, they don't want to believe this. And I kind of touched on it a couple of weeks ago when they were, all in on the fascist conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, let me just grant you that what you say about Trump is true. Let me just grant you that.
Yeah,
I don't believe it,
yeah,
but
sure.
just grant it.
So we don't have to argue.
What does he do about that to achieve the goals that you claim he wants to goal? I mean, do you not believe in the Constitution? So I think a lot of American people in a different way, they're like, okay, maybe Trump's a bad guy, but is he going to be better for America? Is he going to be better for me? Is he going to be better for the economy and border security? All of the issues he's right on. So you can tell me he's a bad guy till the cows come home, but I think the issues are going to outweigh my anxiety about him not being great at dinner parties.
Well, they were schizophrenic. They introduced the Trump paradox, which was he's a pathological liar who can't be trusted on anything, and you must believe everything he says like it's the gospel.
Right.
Well, what do you want people to do with that? You can't really win there.
Well, and if you think about it, and on reflection, it seems obvious. I still had so much anxiety moving into it, but the opposite of that was Kamala Harris, which, they didn't expect her to take a position on anything. Everything was okay. Everything was fair game for her. Oh, take the position on whatever here and then there. 51 after the hour. We'll continue breaking it down. Take your telephone calls. Joe and Ryan and Steve and David and whomever's on line 5. Thank you for calling in. It is your day to reflect on what happened yesterday, Election Day in the United States of America. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
live streaming and on-demand audio, all on the SuperTalk 99.7 WTN.
I'm very excited when I talk about Safe House, Nashville Safe House. I'm very excited because now that Joe Biden is not going to be the president anymore and Kamala Harris is not going to be the vice president anymore, I think I'm well in the running to be Employee of the Year at Safe House. At least I'm going for it. Joe and Kamala have been Employees of the Year for a while now. Why? Because they make you less safe, sadly, in your homes or in your places of business. Nashville Safe House makes you more safe. They've got more safes than you can possibly imagine. They're the largest Browning safe dealer in the United States of America, which means the world. They've got all types, all brands, all makes, all models, all sizes, and all budgets. Nashville Safe House is simply great at what they do. They sell safes, they sell vault doors, they sell tornado shelters, and that's what they do. Let's get to Nashville Safe House today if it's time. Remember, gun safes are always sales tax free at the Safe House, NashvilleSafeHouse.com, NashvilleSafeHouse.com, or stop by 4th Avenue South across from City Cemetery. It's the Safe House.
Got a crash getting in the way north of downtown. It is 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. Vice President Harris makes a call. What's she going to say later today? Details at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Looking forward to that, Mr. Weaver. Looking forward to your telephone calls as well, as we offer this day to you during the Matt Murphy Show to respond to everything going on. We have reports that Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, has presented a bizarre press conference in which she talks about we're ready to respond to any attempt to roll back our rights, that we had contingency plans based on the possibility of this happening. I don't know what any of that means, but I'll share some of that with you coming up in just a moment, get your reaction to it. Continue our conversation with Cameron Smith, as well as our conversation with you. Super Talk 99.7 WTN at 59 after the hour. Glad to have you with us. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Just let me know while you're shaking your head what you need me to do, and I'll do it then there, Belkay. I just need a little advice, whether you need me to keep going or whether you want me to stop talking. You just let me know, and I'll do whatever you tell me. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Hey, Bell.
Yeah, we can go
Hey,
ahead.
Bell, at least you're having a bad day, and Kamala Harris is not president-elect. How about that?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, that makes you feel better? Yeah. And you're wearing a fine shirt. That's a good-looking shirt that you're wearing there. Ken Weaver's a fine-looking fella himself, and he's got headlines right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
2 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. I see that President Biden has called President-elect Trump to congratulate him on the election win and has invited him to the White House for a transition meeting. Vice President Kamala Harris is called to congratulate President-elect Trump ahead of the speech she's expected to give at some point today. Here's Selena Wang.
I have been talking to Democratic operatives, and they say she's going to graciously accept the results of this election. They expect that she's going to wish the former president the best because she loves this country. She wants what's best for this country, and she's also going to thank her supporters.
And no time yet on when the vice president will be speaking exactly. Andy Ogles gets another term in Tennessee's 5th Congressional District. He tells WTN's Dan Mandis this morning on WTN's Nashville's Morning News. What's next with President-elect Trump?
I talk to the president, President Donald Trump, fairly regularly. You know, I have several pieces of legislation bills that in some form or fashion I think you'll see put forward again in this next House, like the Send Them Back Act, which would allow us to expedite deportation of those that are here illegally, especially if they're criminals.
Ogles' victory comes after we didn't see much of a traditional campaign from him. He's under an FBI campaign finance probe, had his cell phone seized. Ogles says it's retaliation for him being outspoken. Well, we have a new hurricane in the Gulf. It's hitting portions of Cuba today. Here's ABC News senior meteorologist Melissa Griffin.
Hurricane Rafael has now become a Category 3 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 115 miles per hour as it makes landfall in western Cuba today. It's expected to bring life-threatening storm surge, damaging hurricane-force winds, up to a foot of rain, which would cause flash flooding and mudslides to portions of western Cuba through tonight as it makes its way across the island.
And extreme Santa Ana winds are blowing in Southern California. 100-mile-per-hour wind threatening the area. Fires exploding in Malibu, burning some homes right along the beach. Another fire in Ventura County exploding. And because of the wind, no stopping it. Planes can't fly to drop fire retardant. Some helicopters trying to protect homes. Evacuations underway, and there are some burn injuries from those in the path of these flames fueled by the Santa Ana winds in Southern California. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
A lot of people believe yesterday was the start of taking our country back. We can get into the fight in the economic realm right now with Coin, the conservative credit card. Instead of funneling millions of dollars to the left like other cards, Coin advances conservative values and conservative charity. Earn cash back while fighting back. Apply now or learn more at coin.com. Spell it COIGN.com. Coin.com. Terms apply. Go to coin.com/disclosures for full details. And when you stop by, tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Coin. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Show in progress. One more hour, we'll hand off to Brian Wilson and The Drive. Excited to hear Brian and his analysis after a restful night's sleep. Obviously talking Election Day that was. A lot of you on the phones excited to get your points across, and we'd love to hear from you at 615-737-9986. Also talking with Cameron Smith, who resides in Conservative Closet over at the Tennessean, writes for that publication as well as nationally, and you hear him at least weekly and sometimes even more than that on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, breaking some things down. You and I were talking during the break, Cameron, real quick, and we'll get back to calls. And by the way, I think, as I scroll myself, I think I've got this right now, that it is 3 o'clock-ish Central Time that Kamala Harris is expected to make her concession speech. I will leave it up to Brian Wilson as to how he handles that, how much we cover of that live as it happens or whatnot. And I'm sure Brian's got a game plan ready for you coming up in about an hour from now. If it happens before then, I'll jip it. That's join in progress. I'll carry that concession speech. She's apparently already called Donald Trump. So, I mean, this puts to bed, because a lot of people last night, Cameron, were saying, oh, my goodness, well, it's close enough that she might challenge in this state or that state. It's not that close. And there's not going to be challenges. No, it's over.
No, we're not going to do impeachment stuff related to this. We're not going to do collusion. We're not. No. Just no.
Well, and isn't that nice?
Yes.
To know that none of that's going to happen.
Yeah, I was, and we talked about this. I was concerned that we'd be talking about this election and which way it was going to go for several weeks, potentially. And now I can focus on things that matter, like, football.
So you're telling me that after 8 years of it, I get no Russia collusion conspiracy theories?
I'm sorry to tell you, Bell.
We're done. We're moving on, Bell.
Bell?
I've been watching.
We're all Russians now.
I've been watching Twitter, and there's some Russian conspiracy theories going on out there from leftists, and I'm going to enjoy my Russian conspiracy theories because
you need to do.
I want another 4 years of them.
You do what you need to do. It's interesting, and I will not name names, but I had a conversation with one of our stablemates over at the sports station, and he goes, "Look, I'm not that big of a fan of him. I mean, and this is a guy that didn't tell me how he voted, but I got a strong indication that it was Harris."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm not that big a fan of him. I never have been. But the fact that she has not made a call, and this was before she did earlier today. This is a few hours ago. I mean, it bothered. Look, when you take the loss, you congratulate the other team and you move forward. And apparently she just did that about an hour ago. Had to put in the old peaceful transfer of power line. That's a senior staff said. We encouraged the president-elect to further the peaceful transfer of power. Like, what? Y'all are in power, so
I think
the only thing that would impede that is you.
That she got beat bad enough that there weren't even riots in the cities. Like, it's just, well...
They got Antifa's got their mask and their pitchforks. Wow, good gracious.
Wow, that was bad.
We just need to go on home. Figure some things out.
Well, one of the biggest things in this election that I think will resonate for years to come is the breaking of the monolith of black voters. And what I mean by that is there's enough of a contingent that said, we're going to vote for Trump, that it creates permission and space for other folks to say, well, if I like the Democrat, I'll vote for the Democrat. If I like the Republican, I'll vote for the Republican. And Democrats have for so long just said, oh, cool, you're black, you're a Democrat. And that's just not going to that dog will not hunt anymore. They are going to Democrats are going to have to go to black voters and say, you know what? We haven't delivered the goods for you. We've assumed you will support us. And now here's what we're going to do. I don't think they have an answer because it's just been so easy for them.
Toward your point, exit polling indicated yesterday that 1 in 3 people of color voted for Donald Trump. Yeah. That's huge.
Massive.
That's huge. In Wisconsin, for example, Wisconsin that went for Trump doubled his African-American numbers in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And it does go to show you that there has been a shift in not just the stereotypical politics of the day. There's a shift in thought about who best represents me, regardless of what my color is.
Yeah.
And I think the working class is moving toward, I think there is a danger that Democrats lose labor.
You think?
And as evidenced by that, maybe I'm stating the obvious, that blue wall crumbling down.
If I am leadership for labor and I enjoy my mansion, I'm probably thinking like, I need to really rethink this because my voting block is increasingly Republican. And so I need to start playing nice.
Because at some point they're going to vote on me.
Boom. And that starts to really matter because right now the leadership's still very Democratic, but the rank and file are saying, well, your mansion looks cool. Must be nice.
In the meantime, let's check in on Attorney General Letitia James in New York and see if she's handling everything well, shall we? What? When? Oh. Once again. So she's doing well today.
So what we should do is, Belle, if you have a moment, if we could just overlay that with Jelly Roll's I Am Not Okay. Like, barely hanging.
But see, here's the awesome thing. That in the face of all that in New York, Donald Trump picked up hundreds of thousands of votes in the state of New York. And Manhattan's not Trump country, but in Queens and the Bronx, he only lost, and this is, New York's blue, sure, but it was 55 to 40. It was 55.8 to 44.2. That's a better margin than he won in 2020, better margin than he won in 2016. So New Yorkers voted more for Donald Trump in 2024 than they have ever.
So I'm going to sound weird saying this, but for a long time people said, well, it's not about Donald Trump the man, it's the idea. And Donald Trump's like, no, it's about me. I'm the guy. I actually really see that now. Like I see it's the idea. I don't think people you're going to see a bunch of MAGA stickers all over the place. You're not going to see we love Trump so much as it is, you guys lied to us repeatedly and we don't believe you and we're going to make you pay for that.
I think it has morphed into something different in 2024 than it was in 2016, but the concept is the same.
Yeah.
That you couldn't ding the guy on his individual faults or failures because it was not about that.
Right.
It was about how much we were frustrated and how the government no longer represents us.
Well, on inflation, just take that one, the single biggest thing. We were told the economy is going great. And we knew it wasn't true.
Bidenomics.
Right. They were like, it's fine. You're fine. Everything's, hey, immigration, this is a normal fluctuation.
Right.
No, we can see this. We know that's not true. And they're like, well, Trump's just, he's lying to you. I'm like, no, you're lying. We can see it. We don't have to ask him because we can see it. Like we just go on X and we can see what's happening.
I asked Bell in the 12 o'clock hour, and he got it right for the most part. I said, if you had it, what would Joe Biden or his sycophants tell you is his single most important legislative achievement? Well, you don't get to run on that because you called it the Inflation Reduction Act. What it was the Let's Spend a Lot of Money Act, but you called it the Inflation Reduction Act. Well, you don't get to run on that. You don't get to talk about that if you're Joe Biden or if you're Kamala Harris, because guess what? I buy eggs.
Amen.
I mean, right?
It's the idea of, and here's what was even funnier about that piece of legislation is people were like, I can't afford to put food on my table. Can we do something about this? What your concern really is climate change. To which people are like, well, no. You don't understand. I can't afford those eggs. I'm really struggling. But like the temperature, we need to make sure 500 years from now, it doesn't rise 2 degrees. And that's where most Americans are like, you're just not listening. And that was my column today over the Tennessean, is they just didn't listen to what the American people said they cared about.
In another example, there are enough of them that we could fill the entire day with them. Mm-hmm. The transgender stuff.
Yes.
Right? You decided to put and I understand that there are real transgender and gender dysphoric people and all of those things.
Yes.
We get that. And for the most part, I think that America is compassionate to your mental stability and the plight that you have and all of these things. And I hate it for you that you find yourself in a position where society has set itself up where it can't cater to your every need. Yes. But that is a fact for transgender people, and it's always going to be. The Democrats just decided that they were going to virtue signal to the point that they're going to take up the needs of those individuals to the point that they tell American moms, look, it's okay if your little girl goes into the bathroom and sees a grown man's penis.
Right.
That's okay. And moms are like, no, it's not. And their response is just, yes, it is.
Yeah.
And then like, no, it's
and Democrats,
not.
the answer to that was, it just doesn't happen that often. And I'm like,
what? That's not an
Do you see? It's like the same with men and women's sports. They're like, well, it's just really not that big of a problem. It doesn't happen that often. Well, but to the women it happens to, it's a big problem.
Right.
And so
if the tornado hits my house, it's a pretty big problem.
And our thing is, and this is where the libertarian streak, I think, comes out in both of us, is it's like, hey, you can kind of do what you want as an adult over there.
Sure.
Provided that you don't tread this whole flag over here. Don't tread on me. Don't step on somebody else's rights. And that's where Democrats said, you know what? We're going to tell you what you need to believe, think, and feel. And if you dissent, you're garbage.
And it once again goes back to your point that you made at the top of the hour, that they say, yeah, but this is really, really, really important. And we were like, we've set up society in such a way where we want the rights of the adult individual in this country to be protected, to be sacrosanct. But we also say, we don't think that 10-year-olds can make reasonable, mature decisions for themselves. So we're going to protect their rights, too, in the long term by saying there's certain things you can't do. Democrats were like, no. They get to make those decisions on certain things, but not other things.
Right.
Like, well, then you're not being consistent.
You can decide permanent, immutable changes to your physical body, but you can't vote.
Then why can't you vote? Why can't you drive a car? Why can't you do the rest of those things? That makes no. So the average American, even non-political people, are looking at this going, y'all aren't making a lot of sense here.
That is it. You make no sense. And so average people who don't pay attention to politics like we do, that aren't in it all the time, they're like, this doesn't make any sense.
This doesn't make any sense.
This is weird. And then Democrats tried to be like, we are the change. We're going to turn the page on something.
And then their response to us going, this doesn't make any sense, is, yeah, but his rally at Madison Square Garden means he's a Nazi.
Right.
Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense either.
Right. And if you it's fine if you don't like Trump. It's fine to say, hey, I don't like his character. I don't know the way he speaks or whatever. Okay, fine. But what are you about? What's your thing? And that's a question we talked about off air. What are they going to do now? He's not running again.
Right.
He won. And so now you have to decide. You've spent all this time being not him. Even when Joe Biden was in office. I still forget he's actually the president.
That's true.
Even with Biden in office, it was still about Trump. And now you just aren't going to have that anymore. Sure, you can say, well, I'm going to oppose him the next whatever. But, like,
what do you stand for?
What are you about?
We know what you stand against. You've told us for the last 8 years. What do you stand for?
All right.
What are you for?
And I just think
that makes sense.
Trump and Republicans have set up a big tent, ironically, and Democrats are a boutique firm. And so it's going to be tough for them to take that back anytime soon.
That's great. That's a great. They're a little snooty boutique.
Yeah.
That look at you funny if you don't look like you really need to be in their shop.
Yeah. I'm not sure that
Donald Trump's Walmart, baby. Come on.
I don't think
Let's
you can
go.
afford to be in here.
I don't think you need to be in here. Oh, well, come on. Walmart's open. Let's go. 24/7. 20 after the hour. All right. So I promised, and I tell you what. Just in the spirit of my promise, I'm getting to Joe real quick in Springfield. Hey, Joe. Thank you for your patience, sir.
Hey, good afternoon. Two things. One, I would love to see the press secretary's face whenever she has to talk in front of everybody. And two, the way I felt this morning whenever I woke up was the same way I felt whenever Georgia Bulldogs beat the Alabama Crimson.
Oh, come on, glory, Georgia. Get in here. That's a perfect. That's so good. Joe, God. Could not, Joe. I mean, that is a home run. That is a mic drop home run.
Joe has a good memory, though, because that didn't happen this year, right?
Touche.
Just checking.
It did not. Although I still maintain if you'd have just taken your whooping from Georgia, you wouldn't have lost to Vanderbilt.
No, we're going to make it the most awkward season in history.
That's right.
That's what we're doing.
That's right. I heard some Alabama fans say today that, well, we would have taken 2 losses, right? It's just we thought it would be Georgia, not Vandy.
Those are the wrong ones. What are we doing?
21 after the hour. More calls on the way on Super Talk. Jeff Eddy wants you to know if your heater's not ready, you can give him a call. That's why I say if your heater's not ready, call Jeff Eddy, an efficient heating and cooling. If you're trying to make decisions about repairing or replacing your system, Jeff's your boy. Jeff's your man, I should say. He is the man when it comes to these informed decisions. A lot of companies do this. You say, hey, do you think I need to replace it? And they go, oh, yeah, you need to replace it because they make a little more money that way. With Jeff Eddy, he understands that your dollar means something to you and your family, and he needs to stretch that out as much as possible. That's why he's going to repair that unit. And he will tell you when the time comes. I mean, there'll come a time where he'll look at you and say, you know what, we're going to have to RIP this heater and get you a new one. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem when that occurs, and they can give you the right advice as to which way to go. Efficient Heating and Cooling can be found online at efficienthvac.net, efficienthvac.net, or give him a call today, 615-784-4424. I recommend him, 615-784-4424 for Efficient.
let's check traffic here. We had a problem there north of downtown, trying to get to downtown, and it looks like police still there on the scene of a crash, 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. Then we've got the East Loop downtown, eastbound at Shelby Avenue. Got a crash there, too. President-elect Trump getting phone calls today. We'll tell you from who. Coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
He's also getting summons as well as phone calls. Ken Weaver's got the newscast coming up. Apparently, Donald Trump is he was offered a nice little defamation lawsuit, or got a summons of some sort, as the Central Park Five have decided that they're going to file suit against Donald Trump. Best do it now, while he's not president of the United States of America.
Yay.
It's awesome.
Okay.
I've got a list of people that apparently will be leaving the country because of a Donald Trump victory.
Oh, wow.
Do tell.
You want to hear this?
I do.
Bell's on the phone right now, so I got to get my music behind me. But these are people that have, at some point or another, discussed the possibility of leaving the United States of America at a point that Donald Trump is president of the United States again, either fairly forcefully or just in passing. And here we go. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get on the horse and take it. All right. Alec Baldwin, Whoopi Goldberg, John Legend, Chrissy Teigen, Rob Reiner, Barbara Streisand, Cher, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Megan Rapinoe, Tom Hanks, Amy Schumer, AOC, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Bill Gates, Jane Fonda, Madonna, Mark Ruffalo, Kim Kardashian, Bruce Springsteen, George Clooney, Hunter Biden, Oprah, Robert De Niro, Samuel L. Jackson, Miley Cyrus, Travis Kelce, Bobby Atnoff, Rashida Tlaib, Stormy Daniels, Dr. Anthony Fauci, George Soros, P. Diddy, Eminem, Ellen DeGeneres, Sean Penn, Sharon Stone, Ashley Judd, Tommy Lee, Bryan Cranston, and Billy Joe Armstrong. Bonus! Cher, apparently, according to Cher, will blow her brains out, and Rob Reiner will set himself on fire. Bono has promised to drive his car off a cliff. There you go. If you have more to add to our list, we'd be happy to get submissions via the text line 615-737-9986.
I think P. Diddy missed the boat.
I don't think P. Diddy.
He's wishing he could leave the country right now.
He's going nowhere.
Matt, how many of those people do you think actually own houses already in other countries?
Most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them, yes. So they can go out of the country anytime they want. But, yeah, I mean, did anybody see The View today? I bet it was much watched.
Why would you ask that question?
No, I think that was they suspended the broadcast today because they couldn't get Joy to come in off the ledge.
Let me tell you something. The View is going to get more viewers today than they have had.
I take that back. I did. While I would never watch The View, I saw the screen grab of them in mourning garb. They were wearing black.
Oh,
and I was just like, come on. And I mean this sincerely. If you need a safe space, I tweeted this last night. It's true. If you need a safe space to react to the election results, you're why Democrats got their butts whooped. Like, it's that kind of like.
They were all dressed in black.
I told
I'm looking
you.
at it right here. Oh, that's so good. They're all dressed in black, like they're all going to funerals.
That's just so weird. If you care that much about this stuff, that you're putting on mourning garb? Are you serious?
Well, sadly, some people have been spewing this nonsense for so long they believe it. And I said at the beginning of the show that we can take a victory lap and we can nanny boo boo, whatever.
Sure.
And that feels good. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. There's no question. But I also think about there are a lot of liberals that believed it. There are a lot of liberal people that bought into this narrative that Trump is an authority. Those people are concerned. They need to get right in their minds, and we need to help them get right in their minds.
They were just drinking their own Kool-Aid and didn't even stop to be like, hey, but wait a minute, is this true?
Well, right, like it's the whole fascist thing. Okay, let's say he's an authoritarian fascist and he wants to be Hitler. How does he? Don't you believe that the Constitution has dynamics that prevent any of that from going on?
So Reagan said, if you're explaining, you're losing. And they explained everything to the voters for the last ever. And it's kind of like a macchiato. Most people don't know what a macchiato is. And you know what? If you have to explain that it's a kind of coffee, then...
I thought it was like that's a mojito. Never mind.
But this is the thing, right? If you have to explain what the thing is, then you have a problem. And Democrats were constantly explaining, because when you say fascist, that's a term for like, you know, the elites who are debating political theory. Most people are like, don't you mean just like you don't like him? And it's sort of like macchiato is.
That's exactly right.
Macchiato is coffee.
Don't you mean coffee?
Can't you just say coffee? And the answer was no, they couldn't. They had to explain to you why you just didn't know enough to
You're
vote.
just a little smarter.
If they, and I mean, it makes my skin crawl. It really just makes me just lit when Democrats say they vote against their self-interest. They're just, they just don't know.
Or I heard it last night. I can find the clip. It was on MSNBC. Or no, it was on some PBS show where there was a panel on PBS where some liberals said that that sadly most Americans voted to end democracy tonight.
Yes. We will never have another election.
Because we voted to end democracy. Okie dokie.
My ask to them is like, if we never have another election, could you just say you're never voting again? Like, that would be easier for me, so we can keep going.
So you can do that on your own, and we're going to keep moving forward with this American experiment. It's 2:30, almost 2:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Election 2024. President Biden's called to congratulate President-elect Donald Trump, invited him to the White House for a transition meeting. Vice President Kamala Harris called Trump earlier today, too, and is expected to address the nation at some point this afternoon. Tennessee 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles headed for another term. WTN's Dan Mandis asked Ogles if President-elect Trump might intervene on his behalf in the FBI's probe into what Ogles says is campaign finance disclosure errors.
We did our audit, hired a company to do it. We filed amendments to fix any and all mistakes that we could find. And so we've been proactive. I've been proactive. Obviously, I hire people to do that. But, so we expect this to fully play itself out. Whether or not Donald Trump will even need to weigh in, I doubt it, but I guess to be determined.
Ogles says his team has filed a lawsuit and expects to win, claiming violation of the speech and debate clause, preventing the executive branch from spying on members of Congress. And here in Nashville, Mayor Freddie O'Connell's Choose How You Move transit plan with a sales tax increase passed. His team's getting to work today, putting together a list of projects on which to start.
If we have this conversation a year from now, you should be able to see progress on all three components of the program. You'll see service improvements at WeGo by next summer. You'll see sidewalks under construction, if not completed by, winter.
As early as today, O'Connell's team will start matching funds to projects. A new hurricane in the Gulf hitting portions of Cuba today. Hurricane Rafael's Category 3 storm, and will also bring deteriorating conditions to portions of Florida. And the strongest Santa Ana wind event of the year is hitting Southern California, and warnings are up for life-threatening fire dangers in the wind. We got wind-fueled fires right now in Ventura County, another in Malibu where homes are already burning. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Some of you liberals that have been pulling your hair out as a result of the election processes might need PAI Medical and We Grow Hair. That's right. I'm here to help. PAI Medical and the We Grow Hair people can help you if you're thinning anywhere on your person. Friends, it's as simple as this. You if you're a male, will probably experience some level of thinning at some point in your life. If that's the case, what about their FDA-approved laser treatments? I'm doing that. Now, it seems weird because I've got a full head of hair. Well, I have a full head of hair in part because of the FDA-approved laser treatments that I've been taking to make my hair fuller and thicker and to prevent any hair loss down the road. It's important that you do this, men, early, and if you've already experienced certain hair loss, they have a solution for you as well, to include their multi-unit hair grafting procedure and the ARTIS robotic FUE hair transplant procedure. Results are guaranteed. Call today at 615-376-6010, 376-6010, or go to WeGrowHair.com. That's WeGrowHair.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I was just asking off air. By the way, we'll get to your calls coming up. 237, pardon me, on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're anticipating a concession address from Kamala Harris at her headquarters at Howard University in D.C. We got Brian Wilson coming up on the drive. Thankfully, I think he gets to make the decision how much or what to carry of that, and I'm certain that he's on top of that as he continues the conversation into the afternoon, interested in what he has to say after a night of reflection on what was a momentous presidential election. A lot of activity, a lot of a flood of votes. Let's talk about the process for a second, Cameron, before we go to phones, because we saw a lot more conservatives/Republicans embrace early voting.
Yes,
no question. In Tennessee, there was just a steady stream of voters throughout the early voting process. I'm not that big of a fan, although, I
did. That's how I voted.
That's how I voted early. It was weird waking up. It's the first time I've ever done it. Weird waking up on Election Day and you don't have to go to the polls. And then I'm getting communicated with from some of my friends that for some reason I had a disconnect in Alabama. I lived there for 21 years. And they're like, man, the lines are 2 hours long, 2.5 hours long. And they're texting me about these things. And then I text a few of my friends in Tennessee. I said, hey, how are the lines? Oh, 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, they don't have early voting. I mean, it does help.
Yes.
Mitigate.
I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's great.
Are you?
Yes. And here's why. Because I have confidence in the state of Tennessee that our elections are conducted in a safe and secure manner. Like, I know my polling place. I know what's going on. There are old people there that walk me to the machine. They double check I see it all. I'm in control of it. And you know what? I don't have to wait in line that long.
Yeah.
And so for me, as long as the method is safe and fair, then let's do it.
I think for a long time it was the unspoken that conservatives believed that, and maybe I'm changing my position on it in real time. I haven't yet. But I think conservatives believed that if you structured it in a way that they are more motivated to go vote on that day, that the left they have a lot of dependency on the 24-year-old and they're too busy or whatever. It's not that important. I think the dynamics have changed. I think there are just as many concerns about the political right not having the time or not having the ability to vote on one particular day. I think this election cycle might change a lot of minds about that process, as long as we believe that the system is safe and secure.
Yeah. And I think that, again, don't just believe what a politician tells you. Like, go check it out. Like, make sure you feel comfortable that your ballot, I had my paper card, I put it in the machine, I see the counter go up. I mean, seemed good to me.
Yeah. And, the only concerns that I heard about were, frustrations over the little bitty box on the side, and there was some confusion there. But my experience was there were like 3 different fail-safes.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, hey, this is your ballot before we ask you about printing it. Is this right? If not, you can go back. And then you go back again. It's like, hey, we're about to print this thing. You really need to look at this before you do. And then after you print it, if it's wrong, then you can claim a spoiled ballot and you can correct it before you put it in the machine.
I actually was kind of annoyed at the level of explanation I got before I voted. Here is the card.
Don't do this and do right. And this
I'm like,
and the thing.
I'm
and
not a 5-year-old.
Right. It's like,
I can figure this out. And then I remember hanging chads, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Let's talk to David next in Lawrenceburg. David, thank you for your hold. How are you, sir? David.
Hello.
Hey, David.
Hey, one of my concerns for President Trump is the people that, like Brennan and stuff, that have a security clearance. When Trump gets in, he needs to clear out that group that had all them clearances so they can't get in there and mess with things again.
I have no question that during the political transition that's going to take place over the next couple of months, that Donald Trump's going to do a lot of cleaning house.
Yes.
No question.
I mean, all those with the laptop and, all those that said it was Russian information, they all need to lose all that clearance so they don't have any more insight of what's going on with the government.
Could not agree more, David. Let's make them lose that clearance, Clarence.
That's confusing.
Roger. Judy is next in Lebanon. Hey, is this? Wait a minute. I think I know who this is.
This is Jersey Judy. I met
Jersey
Matt
Judy.
last night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jersey Judy is fresh out. Not the joint, but Jersey. I mean, how long you been a Tennessee girl, Judy?
Well, I escaped the communist state of New Jersey. I was a school teacher, and school ended June 21st. And June 22nd, I had my car packed, and I was on my way to Tennessee.
Love it.
Free state.
In my hometown of Nolensville, I have access at Mama's Java to the New Jersey bagels. So just if you need a fix, we got you covered down here.
No, I am gluten-free, so I don't do bagels.
Well, then you're set. You don't need anything.
Did you have a good time last night, Miss Judy?
I had a great time, and I wanted to thank you guys for putting on that event, because I would have been sitting home by myself. I met some really nice people out there, and, it was really good.
Yeah.
But I have one message that I want to say, and I'm going to say it in Kamala's language so she can listen. We have now been unburdened by what has been.
Yes.
That's no question about that. Jersey Judy, call me anytime. I thank you for the call, and I thank you for waiting, and it was a pleasure meeting her last night. A Jersey refugee. What did you think I meant when I said fresh out? I meant fresh out of the...
Well, you said the pen right after that, and I'm like, what's going on here? Don't besmirch the character of Jersey Judy.
Jersey Judy told me that she had escaped the insane asylum that was New Jersey after years of being a school teacher up there, and came down to the great state of Tennessee. I asked her what made, and I've asked this question a lot of transplants. I'm technically a transplant, but I understood what the South was about, and grew up, born in Georgia, living in Alabama.
Far.
No, I didn't go far. But they're like, Judy looked around, and she figured it out. And they figure it out pretty quick. No income tax, beautiful topography, gorgeous, mountains and lakes, and anything you want to get into, you can get into. They figure it out.
Yeah. By contrast, on my 23andMe, it shows like where your history comes from. Came over from the UK, hit the South, and stopped.
Yep.
But didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, the Smith's been around Tennessee for
This is good.
hot minute.
Not moving.
Mike's in the borough. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how you doing there?
Great.
Good. Hey, the number one thing got to be won, and this is going to be a great time. I'm looking really forward to the next several years. Question I have is this: I don't trust Democrats at all for anything, especially the group that we've just now seen. Now they've tried to. Somebody tried to take Trump out twice already, and hopefully nothing like this does happen. But since he's president-elect, if someone does another attempt and actually succeeds this time, then what happens?
I don't expect that anybody's going to be getting close to Donald Trump anytime soon with malfeasance in their minds or in their hearts. However, my gut tells me that J.D. Vance would then ascend to the presidency.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, you can't inaugurate somebody who's not there,
right?
But because the votes were cast and
he was the running mate, so I think it would naturally.
Let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Nobody wants that. Now, look, there are sadly a lot of insane people that believed a lot of the rhetoric, the heated rhetoric. I mean, we saw that. I mean, that was what the summer was all about.
Yes.
That was what the first announcement
and we've got to chill out, right? And I actually feel like we're at a place where Trump's going to be Trump. He ain't going to change. The tiger has its stripes. That's the way it is. But I don't think it's sort of the people who get that and they're like, okay, moving on. And I think we're at a place where we can do that, but we just got to chill out a little bit.
Let's talk to Renee in Clarksville. Renee, your thoughts on this election cycle? What's going on with you?
Well, I tell you what, I ain't gonna lie to you. I did have a whole bunch of anxiety going into it because, Lord, I did not want to have 4 years of Kamala. Oh, and I'm also from New Jersey, too. But I've lived down south for most of my life. I live in Tennessee most of my life. So love it. We'll never go back to New Jersey because they crazy. But what I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm sorry, I'm a realist. I'm concerned about all those riots that happened when Trump was in office. And when the election was going with 2020, I had a coworker, bless her heart, she was crazy as a coon. But she said that, they're going to vote for Biden because they're tired of all these riots going on in these cities, and they don't want Trump to be in there because they believe Trump is the reason why they're having a riot. And that's what I'm concerned about. We're that they're gonna start spinning them up again, where they're against the cops, they're against authority, and they're gonna the Occupy stuff. And I really don't want that happening again.
Well,
so do you think that will happen again?
Well, I can't speak to isolated cases, and obviously circumstances might lead to individuals taken to the streets. Really, the riots of the Summer of Love of 2020 were all about George Floyd. These were circumstances that had nothing to do with Donald Trump being president.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Now, maybe they took advantage of it. But, here's what I would say, Renee. That you know the phrase that's been going around, too big to rig? Like, we got to win too big to rig?
Yes.
Well, you know what we did last night? We won too big to riot.
Yeah.
I mean,
we sure
anybody rioting at this point is like, what, you don't believe in America? I mean, America just spoke. I thought you believed in this thing I thought you were fighting to defend democracy. Democracy just spoke last night.
Yeah, and riot, you want something, right? You want a thing to be done.
What do you want?
You just want to hold another election where you lose again?
I mean, you just want to, burn some dumpsters?
Right. And if people are mad, I get that, but I don't see it. It was, like you said, too big to riot.
No, if Donald Trump had lost the popular vote, and if it was like a one-state thing and there were, and he barely squeaked it out, kind of a reverse of what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
Maybe, but no. I mean, we could be wrong. This weekend, maybe there's some isolated pockets. Let's hope not.
You're not a very good protester, though, if you wait till the weekend. You're like, well, I got the information and I'm upset. But
I'm furious.
Man, you just wait a couple days and then I'll get really worked up.
I am furious, but I got my shift at Denny's that I got to take out. But this weekend, I'm off.
I got to know why people have a problem with raccoons. Like, we really need to get this done.
We're going to get it. We're going to make it happen.
Crazy as a raccoon? Mm-mm.
No. We're going to make this happen. Raccoons are the cutest little rabies carriers that they're out there, and we just have to figure that part of it out.
Well, they wash their food.
The
before
what?
they
What?
eat.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, there's another reason to like raccoons. Ken Weaver just gave us another one.
We're going to have the fact sheet, and it's all going to be out there, and then we're going to – and if perchance you are an individual that tries to turn a rabid raccoon into a pet – then we're not going to have a status solution for you in the state of Tennessee. You're just going to get rabies.
Right. And you know what? If you get rabies, there's a you got to get the
Needle
shots
in the stomach.
and it's a thing. But you know what? There's the cost of having a raccoon as a pet.
Yeah. Choices, people.
Yeah, and you're not going to lose the raccoon too. I'm sorry to tell you. No one's going to believe that you brought this up before the Fred the raccoon and Peanut the squirrel thing. Nobody. At some point, it's going to cascade, and people are going to think you did it as a result. And I'm here to tell you, I was here, folks.
We got the tapes, man.
We do. That's true. We also have Brian Wilson standing by, and he's going to give us a little bit of a preview as to his breakdown as to what happened last evening. That is coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's just about our allotment of time. Checking in with Brian Wilson and the drive fresh off the big election night watch party in Wilson County. Boy, oh boy, did you get some sleep, Mr. Wilson?
You know, I was going to ask you the very same question. I mean, we cut it off at about midnight and turned it over to Red Eye Radio. While I was going home, it all started to unfold in the last moments. And I got home and I wanted to watch, see what was going on. I was still so amped up. I don't think I got but about 2 or 3 hours of sleep last night.
I went to bed at 4:30. And I got up at 9 o'clock. So, yeah, it's not a lot, and I slept in. But, man, oh, man, what a day.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable day. I want to give you kudos in that I thought it was going to be a longer thing, and you had the instinct that it was going to be a shorter thing, and you were right about that.
I didn't think this though, man.
Yeah, no, I didn't think. I don't think many people thought it would be this quick. It was really quite a remarkable end to a remarkable and historic campaign. I heard somebody say that the historians are going to be writing about this for generations, and I think it's true. It has been one of the wildest. Well, it is the wildest presidential cycle that I've been a part of covering, and I covered Bush v. Gore, which was crazy.
Wow.
So I mean, this was something. And remarkable, and I'm very pleased to look around the nation today and see calm. Relative calm.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some people who are bitter and some people who are upset, and that's okay, but it's calm. In other countries, they have tanks rolling down the streets during these times, and we don't have that. Yeah, at least
it occurred to me a minute ago. Everybody talked about too big to rig, and I just said to a caller, it's also kind of too big to riot. Yeah. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking probably he's going to end up with 312 electoral college votes, which is just a blowout. So we'll go through all of that. We also are going to have Kamala giving her concession speech during what I think will be our 5 o'clock hour. So we'll carry some of that because I'm just dying to know what she has to say at this point.
Amen. Love it. Absolutely love it. Can't wait for the drive with Brian Wilson. I'll be listening. Hope you are too. Right after Ken Weaver's newscast, and Ken Weaver's newscast is coming up right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Have a wonderful afternoon, folks. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.